When you look at the crowds today, you have maybe 5,000–6,000 people here. On the streets yesterday, 1 million people, 1 million Iranians in the street for the Ayatollah Khomeini. Does that not give you concern? Does that not make you afraid?
Because they are afraid, yeah, that's right. And most of the people don't say anything because they are afraid. And they are in silence, you know, they don't say anything.
Is this the silent majority of Iran out here now?
Yes, that's right.
Do you want the Shah to return?
Yes, Shah, return to the country.
What about you, Shah? Why do you want the Shah? Why does she want the
ما شاه میخوایم ما بیچاره این
شادی کشتنش حلاله کجای قرآن گفته
"47 years we've been bleeding in the dark, under the shadow of the Islamic regime, with a stone-cold heart. They silenced our voices, they turned off our light. 58 days without internet, but we still fought the night. Our children took the streets, they raised their empty hands, and the world looked away. Do you understand? Do you know Europe? Do you know what's been done? Do you know Europe? 42,000 souls are gone, killed in 2 days by a regime drenched in blood. Do you know Europe? that's all it took. Mothers and fathers and sons, did you even look? We stand with Crown Prince Reza Pahlavi, our hope and voice. Millions behind him marching, he is our only choice. He only fights for freedom, democracy and human rights. But you mock him in your chambers while he fights for our lives. To pull us out of this darkness, this century-long night, while you sign deals with our killers and call it diplomatic right. Do you know Europe? Do you know what's been done? Do you know Europe? They hang 60-40 souls one by one, hanged within 4 months by a regime drenched in blood. Do you know Europe? Or have you just given up? Do you know Europe? Do you feel anything at all? Or did something break inside you while Iran answered the call? Do you know Europe? What happened to you, Europe? What made you so cold? What turned your heart to stone while our story went untold? Is oil worth more than blood? Is silence worth the shame? Because while you negotiate with murderers, we are dying, calling your name. Do you know Europe? Do you know what's been done? Do you know Europe? 42,000 souls are gone, killed in 2 days by a regime drenched in blood. Do you know Europe? Or have you just given up? Do you know Europe? We are still here. We are still strong. Do you know Europe? How much longer? How much longer? How long? Do you know Europe?
To all of our friends around the world, under the yoke of the Islamic Republic, Iran is identified in your minds with terrorism, extremism, and poverty. The real Iran is a different Iran, a beautiful, peace-loving, and flourishing Iran. It is the Iran that existed before the Islamic Republic, and it is the Iran that will rise again from its ashes the day the Islamic Republic falls. So let me be clear about how a free Iran will act towards its neighbors and the world after the fall of this regime. In security and foreign policy, Iran's nuclear military program will end. Support for terrorist groups will cease immediately. A free Iran will work with regional and global partners to confront terrorism, organized crime, drug trafficking, and extremist Islamism. Iran will act as a friend and a stabilizing force in the region, and it will be a responsible partner in global security. In diplomacy, relations with the United States will be normalized, and our friendship with America and her people will be restored. The State of Israel will be recognized immediately. We will pursue the expansion of the Abraham Accords into the Cyrus Accords, bringing together a free Iran, Israel, and the Arab world. A new chapter will begin, grounded in mutual recognition, sovereignty, and national interest. In energy, Iran holds some of the largest oil and gas reserves in the world. A free Iran will become a reliable energy supplier to the free world. Policymaking will be transparent. Iran's actions will be responsible. Prices will be predictable. In transparency and governance, Iran will adopt and enforce international standards. Money laundering will be confronted. Organized corruption will be dismantled. Public institutions will answer to the people. In the economy, Iran is one of the world's last great untapped markets. Our population is educated, modern, with a diaspora that connects it to the four corners of the world. A democratic Iran will open its economy to trade, investment, and innovation, and Iran will seek to invest in the world. Opportunity will replace isolation. This is not an abstract vision. It is a practical one, grounded in national interest, stability, and cooperation. To achieve this, now is the time to stand with the Iranian people. The fall of the Islamic Republic and the establishment of a secular, democratic government in Iran will not only restore dignity to my people, it will benefit the region and the world. A free Iran will be a force for peace, for prosperity, and for partnership.
وقتی واسه غمنی گرچه قصه هامون کم نیست همه خسته ایم قبولم ما فرصتی واسه ماتم نیست روشن میشه فردا خورشید سرزمین ما سرم باز و سینه سپر بلند میگم جاوید شاه وقتی واسه غمنی گرچه قصه هامون کم نیست همه خسته این قبولم ما فرصتی واسه ماتم نیست روشن میشه فردا خورشید سرزمین ما سرم باز و سینه سپر بلند میگم جاوید شاه روبروم یه واژه یه هدف به نام انتقامه پشت سرم دعای مادر و تو دستم تفنگ بابامه. رو زبونم اسم شاه بگین عشق بی انتهاست. هر جا اسم ایران اومد اونجا صدای بچه رضاست. فردا می نویسن تو کتاب قصه دیمار. بگو با تیر جنگی کشتن بچه‌های بیگناه رو. بگو از بخت مادرها شیر زنا و دخترامون. بگو تنها شهید شدیم تا تنها نمونه شامون. وقتی واسه غم نیست گرچه قصه هامون کم نیست. همه خسته این قبولم ما فرصتی واسه ماتم نیست. روشن میشه فردا خورشید سرزمین ما. سرم باز و سینه سپر بلند میگم جاوید شاه. وقتی واسه غم نیست گرچه قصه هامون کم نیست. همه خسته این قبولم ما فرصتی واسه ماتم نیست. روشن میشه فردا خورشید سرزمین ما. سرم باز و سینه سپر بلند میگم جاوید شاه. وقتی واسه غم نیست گرچه قصه هامون کم نیست. همه خسته این قبولم ما فرصتی واسه ماتم نیست. روشن میشه فردا خورشید سرزمین ما. سرم باز و سینه سپر بلند میگم جاوید شاه.
سلام من به تو یار قدیمی. منم همون هوادار قدیم.
سید سلام چطوری مردک؟ کلی کتلت شدین دایی بدون مدرک. سلام بسیجی قهرمان رفتی پیش توسی با پنیر و یه نون سنگک. سلام به محفل قرآنیتون. سلام به مدیرای بحرانیتون. سلام به حاجی اکبر و طوله هاش و خارج و رفقای ارگانیتون. سلام به دوستای پول ملت که تش میفتین توی تور ملت. سلام به همه شما کرکسایی که دارین نونتون رو میزنین تو خون ملت تا که تش زیر دست و پاک و تک بخورین. حالا هی به یه بادکنک بدوین. سلام آخر تو زندان باشه وقتی قرار به این آب خنک بخورین. مرگ بر ملا متولی ننگ در دنیا. ننگ بر دوتا مجاهد چپی بعد از ملا. مرگ بر ملا متولی ننگ در دنیا. ننگ بر دوتا مجاهد چپی بعد از ملا. اینو بگذاریم به خاک میرسیم. تجزیه طلبی که به خاک بیرسیم. ایران مردمش وطن پرستن. از کرد تا بلوچ بری به فاک میرسی. توف به هر چی مرسی است. توف به هر کی در پی تجزیه است. توف به لوی و همونی که شیفته ی گل ملیگرا تو وطن خدا نسلی هست. سر کردستان همه برپا شدن. بلوچستان فدای مهسا شدن. شمع واحد که شیر و خورشید ما بقی جعلیا تنها شدن. شادی باشه واسه همه در میهن. کور بشه چه شهرچی اهریمن. رخ رو بگی تا اون 6 کلاس سواد و خبرگان و مجد سری ترجیحن. شبهای عروس و دامادی باشه برن سلامتی نوش کنن و آبادی باشه. مقصد کجاست؟ میدون شهیاده به سمت اتوبان آزادی باشه. سلام به نسل ندید پدیدا. نبودیم ندیدیم قدیمتی ما. شاه بود تو شادی کل میزدین. حالا شاه بر میگرده پیک میزنین. مرگ بر ملا متولی ننگ در دنیا. ننگ بر دوتا مجاهد چپی بعد از ملا. مرگ بر ملا متولی ننگ در دنیا. ننگ بر دوتا مجاهد چپی بعد از ملا. مرگ بر ملا متولی ننگ در دنیا. ننگ بر دوتا مجاهد چپی بعد از ملا.
اگه به این خوشگلی با نوایده بود اسم این مشخواهن رو توش بیاریم ولی خب لازم بود دیگه. فکر کنم با نوایده
Flying over the sea. Besieging, running from the American sound. Tomahawk missiles hitting the ground. My heart, epic fury. Ooh, are you ready, Tehran? Ooh, are you ready for the final round? Epic fury, thunder and flash. Watch the walls of the regime crash. The sledgehammer swinging from the sky. Smash the regime and watch it die. Epic fury, fire and steel. This is the real art of the deal. When we started this fight, all we needed were guns and a spark. 40 years of darkness, now we're lighting up the dark. Crown Prince Pahlavi's back in town.
جاویدشاه 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 جاویدشاه
And we're burning the Islamic regime down. Epic fury, thunder and flash. Watch the walls of the regime crash. The sledgehammer swinging from the sky. Smash the regime and watch it die. Golden cross shining, crusader back to the fight.
Deus Vult.
Hegseth is coming with the hammer of the right. Epic fury, God wills it.
Deus Vult.
Raging change with the steel. This is the art of the deal. USA, Israel, Iranian people, side by side. My heart, epic fury. God bless the USA.
جاویدشاه Let's go.
میخوام بگم از دلم، از عشق به این میهنم، به امید روز شکست دشمن شاه برمیگرده به وطن. برگشتن پهلوی، وحشت هر اجنبی، بلند بگو همشهری شاه رضا پهلوی. نظام رسیده پرتگاه، بلند بگو جاوید شاه. برگشت شاه به میهن، دوای درد وطن. این آخرین نبرده، پهلوی برمیگرده. داره میاد پهلوی، زجه بزن سید علی. راه نجات وطن، پهلوی هموطن. ایران میشه گلستان، شاه که بیاد به ایران. ایران که شاه نداره، حساب کتاب نداره. آخون باید گم بشه، توپ تانک فشفشه. گم شو بیرون اجنبی، داره میاد پهلوی. فریاد بزن جاوید شاه، شعار هر وطن خواه. ما شاه میخوایم نه ملا، بزار بشنوه دنیا. ایرانی داد بزن، شاه تو فریاد بزن. برگشتن پهلوی، وحشت هر اجنبی. بلند بگو هموطن، شاه رضا پهلوی. فریاد بزن جاوید شاه، شعار هر وطن خواه. بلند بگو جاوید شاه، شعار هر وطن خواه. فریاد بزن جاوید شاه، شعار هر وطن خواه. بلند بگو جاوید شاه، شعار هر وطن خواه. فریاد بزن جاوید شاه، شعار هر وطن خواه. بلند بگو جاوید شاه، شعار هر وطن خواه.
Look at us here today. We see so many flags representing so many nations. We know we are not alone, and we thank you for being with us. For all people around the world who stand today in unity with the Iranian people, this is not just because it's good for us, and you do it out of compassion and care for our rights to liberty and justice and equality and human rights. But understand that it is in your best interest too, to have, unlike this regime that has been propagating terror and radicalism, we the people of Iran are peacemakers and not warmongers. We like to be friends, especially with the free world. We'd like to be able to have the best neighborly relationship with the people of our area and the region, with the Arab countries, with Israel, and all our other neighbors. We are fighting for justice, we're fighting for human rights, we are fighting for liberty, we're fighting to put an end to all sorts of discrimination. Because as an Iranian, I stand here to tell you that I've dedicated 47 years of my life because I think that my country deserves far better than what we have right now. To now understand that their best remedy is to support the people of Iran, because ultimately a free Iran will be your best partner, not just to bring stability and peace, but it will be in your best economic interest and opportunities. Together we can prosper again, and the world will be so different once the Iranian people are free. I am here to guarantee a transition to secular democratic future. I am committed to be that leader of transition for you, so we can one day have the final opportunity to decide the fate of our country through a democratic, transparent process, through the ballot box and free elections. And let's make sure that this time, especially the free nations of this world and their governments, stand on the right side of history.
Well, Durud Patriots, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to day 211 of Iran Revolution Live. I'm your host, Goldie Ghamari. Guys, I see your comments. I see them. new hairstyle. The new hairstyle is lit. Thanks, guys. Honestly, it's just the weather is so humid right now where I am that my hair is just like a huge frizz ball. So no, I'm not a doppelganger. I am the real Goldie. I promise you guys, I'm the real Goldie. I just have my hair up in a ponytail because no matter like how much I tried to fix it, it wasn't working. So there you go. This isn't a doppelganger. Oh, I want to give a shout out to my khale. I'm not going to say her name, but because I thought about this. So my khale, I want to say durud to my favorite khale. You know who you are. Welcome, and I guess based on what I'm hearing, my khale is watching right now. So durud khale, durud amو. خیلی خوش اومدین و منتظرم که ببینمتون. یه شب شام میریم بیرون مهمون من. Love you, Khale. Love you, Khale. Love you, Amu. Okay, so as always, guys, let me know where you are tuning in from. If you're in the live stream chat, let me know in the live stream. And if you're watching the rewatch, let me know as well in the video description below. I try to see all of your comments, and I do want to give a shout out to the rewatch crew. So guys, let's get right into it because there is a lot happening. And of course, I have 2 live streams scheduled for tonight. The Goldie Show is focused, of course, on the Iranian people and our fight for freedom and democracy against the brutal Muslim dictatorship, the Islamic regime that's occupying us. And of course, after Iran Revolution Live, I will be live streaming The Goldie Show, which is my geopolitical analysis. And that's where I get into the current status when it comes to the United States and Israel on one side, and of course, the Muslim Nazis on the other side. And guys, a couple days ago, I did a live stream on The Goldie Show where I started diving into sort of the collapse of the Islamic regime, and I gave a lot of insider info. Now that was only part 1 because there was a lot to say. So you guys definitely want to tune in to tonight's evening edition of The Goldie Show, because tonight's evening edition is going to be part 2 of what I was speaking about a couple of days ago. And yes, I did not do a live stream yesterday, guys. I'm aware. Don't worry. I'm okay. I had to deal with a few things. I had to run a few errands, and it was just, I'm sorry. Like, I wasn't able to. By the time I was done my work, I wasn't able to do so. However, I did this live stream a couple of days ago. Let me pull it up for you guys. So this was 2 days ago. It was inside Iran's IRGC purge. Who's rising, who's gone, and why? So tonight, I'm going to be doing part 2 of this right here, okay? So you don't want to miss this. You don't want to miss this because this is where you get all of the insider info. And even though I wasn't live streaming yesterday, guys, I was still doing my homework. I was still doing my research, workaholic here. So tonight, yeah, you're going to get the insider info on what's happening with the IRGC and, of course, the Boom Boom bingo sheet, who's up, who's down, who's in, who's out. So, but I digress. Let's get started. By the way, guys, what did you think? What did you think of the new video? Did you like the new video? The new edition? So I'm still working on it. I feel like I have to change some of the background video, but, like the background scenery when it comes to Iran. But isn't it such a, oh no, push-ups getting 2 wisdom teeth pulled tomorrow. Life is hard. Yeah, push-ups. I had all 4 of my wisdom teeth pulled out at the same time back when I was 18, and my face was like a giant chipmunk. So I've been there. So there you go. But did you guys like that video? Isn't it just such a beautiful thing? It's so beautiful. And you know what? Let me just play it one more time because stuff like this gives us us Iranians hope. And like I mentioned on Iran Revolution Live, day 210, this song is now, it's literally gone viral amongst Iranians on Instagram and social media. So it's such a beautiful song. And you know, it's about Zoroastrianism, and Zoroastrianism is the original Iranian religion, right? So Cyrus the Great, he was Zoroastrian, the founder of the Persian Empire. And in fact, Iranians, we were predominantly Zoroastrian, although keep in mind that Cyrus the Great, he basically invented the concept of human rights and freedom of religion. So the Persian Empire, which was Zoroastrian, respected freedom of religion. And so when they went and they conquered lands, they didn't, like, when they conquered lands, they didn't take people as slaves. When they conquered lands, those lands became part of the Persian Empire, and the you know, people were absorbed into the Persian Empire. However, they were allowed to keep their culture, keep their religion, keep their language, right? So people who were conquered by the Persian Empire, essentially, basically what happened is they became taxpayers, and then they benefited from the protection of the Persian Empire. And, you know, a very good example of that is, of course, our Jewish friends, because 2,500 years ago, when Cyrus the Great, he conquered Babylon, one of the first things that the Persians did, and these were Zoroastrians, right? So one of the first things that Cyrus the Great did when he conquered Babylon is he freed the Jews from their Babylonian enslavement, right? Because the Persians, us Persians, you know, the Iranian civilization, we don't believe in slavery, right? We don't believe in slavery. Everyone is equal. So Cyrus the Great abolished slavery when he conquered and captured Babylon, which of course meant that, you know, he freed the Jews. And then he provided protection to those Jews who wanted to go back to Jerusalem, and he actually spent Iranian gold to help rebuild the Second Temple of Jerusalem. And, you know, of course, many Jews who were freed, instead of going back to Jerusalem, they instead decided to go to Iran instead, because of course that's, you know, they felt safe and they were able to practice their religion freely. So yeah, we have a lot of Iranian Jews, and Iranian Jews are one of the important and critical pillars of Iranian society. And it's really unfortunate that since 1979, the Arab Muslim Nazis, who've once again taken over, have of course turned Iran into a 7th century Islamic hellhole governed by Sharia law. But yeah, Cyrus the Great is the only he's mentioned in the Bible, by the way. Cyrus the Great is mentioned in the Bible. So there you go. This is the ideology of Iranians, right? Good thoughts, good words, good deeds. And, you know, the other thing, I'll play the song once again for you guys because it's, you know, it's really important. But this is essentially the essence of the Zoroastrian religion. And then, of course, Ahura Mazda means the one God, right? Now, what's really important about the one God is that it's not limiting, right? Like, we're not limiting the one God to the Zoroastrian God, right? The one God is the one God. And then, of course, various religions, the Jewish religion or the Christian religion or other religions, right? Everything goes back to the one God, essentially, except for Islam, because they worship the devil, but that's a whole other point. But all other religions, it's all about the one God. And that's why this song is resonating with many Iranians. And of course, it's resonating with many of you as well, because the lyrics of this song are essentially the foundational, it's like the core ideology of Zoroastrianism, right? Good thoughts, good words, good deeds. And then, of course, the part afterwards, and let me just bring that up for you really quickly before I play. Let me just go to YouTube again and find. Let me find the translation for that video, right? So So everyone is already familiar with the good thoughts, good words, good deeds. That's the 3 core principles of the Zoroastrianism faith. However, the second part, okay, so the second part recites the Hashem Vohu, which is one of the holiest hymns of the Avesta. The Avesta is essentially like, think of it as the Zoroastrian version of the Bible or the Torah or whatever. So guys, I want you to think about this. In the Zoroastrian religion, one of the holiest hymns says the following: righteousness is the best of all good. Happiness comes to those who are righteous for the sake of righteousness, right? That's one of the holiest parts of the Avesta. And it's talking about righteousness. And it's basically saying that the best thing you can do in your life is to be a righteous person. And if you're good for the sake of being good, if you're righteous for the sake of being righteous, happiness will come to you, right? And I think that's something that all of humanity can resonate with. And, you know, there's a reason why Zoroastrianism has, you know, always flourished. And this is why the Iranian civilization was so modern and ahead and advanced, you know, given its time. Because, you know, in a time where in other civilizations, and, you know, this isn't to, you know, insult, it's just literally history, right? But, you know, at a time like 2,500 years ago, in other civilizations where, let's say, women weren't equal to men, or women didn't have the right to vote, or women couldn't own land, it was different in the Persian Empire. And of course, the concept of freedom of religion. So yeah, I'll play that song one more time for you guys, and then I will get into the breaking news. So by request, guys, once again, here's the song.
هورشتانم آهور مستم هماتنم هوختانم هورشتانم آهور مستم هماتنم هوختانم هورشتانم آهور مستم هماتنم
There you go. So, by request, I played that again. Guys, it's such a beautiful song, and the words are so inspiring. And, what I can say is on some of my darkest days when things are getting difficult, I just turn to, I turn to the words of the Zoroastrian religion, and gives me strength, gives me peace, right? Good thoughts, good words, good deeds. That's just guys, no matter what faith, or what religion you are, well, I mean, except for the death cult, which I don't want to discuss, but pretty much every single faith or religion, they have some similar concept of good thoughts, good words, good deeds, right? And it's just something that is it resonates with all of humanity, right? Even for people who don't believe in religion, it's still good thoughts, good words, good deeds. It's something that everyone can relate to. I mean, unless you are a terrorist, then of course you're a demon and you belong in hell. But having said that, I digress, guys. Let's get into the news because we have a lot to go through. So we are going to start with, of course, His Royal Highness. And this is a meeting, so a continuation of one of the meetings that His Royal Highness, okay, so guys, normally I save super chats for the end of the live stream, but this one is just, very relevant. So let me just pull this up. So Matthew with a super chat says, it's also interesting because Alexander the Great is not mentioned in the Bible, yet the history behind him covers the time gap between the Old and New Testament. Any thoughts on that? So I'm not a religious scholar, so I can't comment on that, but I would say there's a reason that Cyrus the Great is mentioned in the Bible and Alexander is not. Alexander also burned down Persepolis, so we have a little bit of beef there, but that's okay. That's okay. We're cool. We're cool now. We're cool. But Alexander the Great, they call him the Great, but it's really Cyrus the Great. And there's a reason that he is referred to as the Messiah by I think it's within the oh my gosh, guys, I'm blanking out here. But when I was in Israel, a lot of Jewish people told me that they refer to Cyrus is the only non-Jewish person who's referred to as the Messiah, and there's a reason for that. Also, yeah, Alexander the Great was not that great. Cyrus the Great was great, but Alexander the Great was not as great. But anyways, there you go. So, okay, let me get to what I wanted to share here now. Guys, I can't, when it comes to, the religious stuff, don't ask me about the religious stuff. I'm not a religious scholar or a religious historian. I can't, I don't know about that. No, he's called the Messiah. Cyrus the Great is called the Messiah by the Jewish people, if I recall correctly. I learned that when I was visiting Israel. They call him the Messiah. So there we go. Anyways, no, you know what? All love to our Greek cousins, guys. I love Greece. One of my best friends is from Greece. We love Greece, right? So I'm just teasing. This is just joking about the 2,500 year history, but ultimately I love Greece. I love Greek culture. I love everything about Greece. I visited Greece, beautiful country, beautiful people. So anyways, so let's get to this. So this is really important, guys, because here, what this video is essentially saying, now I'll play the whole thing and then I'm going to go back and I'll read the subtitles for you guys. But this is essentially saying that Iranian patriotism is not a political tendency or party. It is a moral responsibility. Now, I'm going to explain in a little bit why why this is such a significant video. Okay, let me play it first, and then I will explain the significance of patriotism. Okay, you can follow along in the subtitles, and I'll read the subtitles after, but this is important.
توی انجمن سعی میکنیم با همکارانمون تو ایران در ارتباط باشیم. همونطوری که هممون میدونیم همکاران ما نه فقط از نظر سیاسی بلکه در خیلی از مقطع‌ها از نظر اقتصادی تحت فشارن به خاطر مشکلات بیمه که وجود داره و خیلی از زیرساختایی که ما میدونیم که درست نیستش. کاری که ما سعی میکنیم توی انجمن بکنیم اینه که باهاشون ارتباط داشته باشیم. اگر از نظر سیاسی تحت فشارن، اگر مشکل زندان تحت تعقیب هستن، بتونیم صداشون باشیم، مستندسازی کنیم تا جایی که بشه رسانه‌ای کنیم، با نهادهای بین‌المللی صحبت کنیم. اگر مریض‌هایی دارن که از نظر اقتصادی تحت فشارن، با رعایت کردن مسائل امنیتی یه جوری بهشون کمک کنیم. یکی دیگه از کارهایی که تو انجمن ما انجام میدیم واقعیتش طبق گفته های خود شما، ما چه تو جمع پزشکان و کادر درمان چه در سطح واقعا همه ایرانی ها احتیاج داریم.
So, okay, what she's saying here is that one of the things that they're working on is strengthening the spirit of patriotism and devotion to
کادر درمان چه در سطح واقعا همه ایرانی ها احتیاج داریم که
both among physicians and healthcare professionals.
تقویت کنیم روحیه ایران دوستی، ایران پرستی رو. ببخشید من اگر صدام میلرزه.
And of course, strengthening Iranian patriotism throughout society.
من لغت ایرانه که میگم صدام میلرزه. واقعا عذر میخوام. تقویتش کنیم چون واقعا برامون
So then she says we need to foster the spirit. Okay, so basically in this meeting, and I played some of these, clips of this video, this meeting, a few days ago. So this is a meeting of Iranian doctors and physicians who met with His Royal Highness Reza Pahlavi II, the Shah of Iran, and they spoke about many things. Now, in this part of the meeting, the people who are meeting with him are speaking about the importance of promoting Iranian patriotism and fostering the spirit of Iranian patriotism. Now, I'll explain why we're talking about this. Some of you might already know which video I'm going to refer to, oh wait, guys, we have sorry, there's someone, there's an Iranian here who just wrote me a message. Az zahamat shoma mamnunam. Guys, so Freedom is Food is an Iranian, and basically they said, thank you for your efforts. So Freedom is Food, درود بر شما. خوشحالم، باعث افتخارم، وظیفه است تا سرنگونی جمهوری اهریمنی اسلامی ایران ما اینجا هستیم و ما ادامه داریم تا پادشاهمون به ایران آزاد برگرده. درود بر شما، درود بر شما. سپاس از حمایتتون. Anyways, guys, I just thanked them and I said, yes, we're here and I'll continue live streaming every day until Iran is free and our Shah returns to Iran. Okay, let's get back to the video. So she says we need to foster the spirit. So guys, pop quiz. Who can Iranians, you can't answer this because Iranians, someone is saying it's Dorud, D-O-R-O-O-D. Durud. That means hello in Persian. Durud. So, because we're speaking about patriotism, and guys, this is a pop quiz, of course, for non-Iranian viewers. Mama nemitune jawab bedi. Who knows which video I'm going to refer to about why patriotism is so important for us Iranians and why we are literally working so hard to rebuild our sense of patriotism. And we've been very successful at it, by the way. But anyway, so let me know in the chat. I'll continue playing the video, but I'll monitor the comments and see who can predict the video first.
بیفته این دید از نظر انجمن ما ایران دوستی، ایران پرستی یک گرایش یا حزب سیاسی نیست، یک نوع مسئولیت اخلاقیه که تک تک اون باید داشته باشیم.
Right, this is so important. So she's saying, and I 100% agree with her, loving and being devoted to Iran is not a political. Jeremy, guys, Jeremy got it. Jeremy, so smart, guys. We have such a high IQ chat. All right, so anyone who is in class and they're sitting next to Jeremy during pop quiz, you can cheat off of him. Copy his notes because Jeremy already got this. So there you go, guys. See, such a high IQ chat. Look at this. This is why I love live streaming with all of you guys, because you're just absolutely amazing, absolutely amazing. All right. So yes, I'm going to speak about the garbage Khomeini video. So anyways, so what she says here, and this is really important, I agree. So she says, loving and being devoted to Iran is not a political affiliation or a party position. It's a moral responsibility that each and every one of us should carry. By the way, guys, this doesn't only refer to Iran. This refers to all of you, okay? Learn from Iran, learn from the mistake of Iranians trusting the Muslim Nazis in 1979, right? This is why I always say Durud patriots, because all of you are patriots. All of you are patriots for your own countries, and I respect that, right? And we should be able to be patriots for our own countries, right? It doesn't mean that we're against other countries, no. But what it means is that we want to preserve our culture, preserve our identity, preserve our heritage, preserve our, religion, preserve our values, right? And that's the beautiful thing about patriotism, is you preserve your country and your ideals. And patriotism is the enemy of globalism. Patriotism is the enemy of communism. This is why all the communists and the jihadis and the Islamists, they're against America, right? Guys, you literally have like pro-Palestine jihadi terrorists in the United States who burn the American flag while the communists are cheering them on, and they're like, Allahu Akbar, right? So think about that. Think about that, right? Patriotism is so important, guys. It's so important to be a patriot to your own country. And we are an international, global community of patriots.
تا جایی که بتونیم سعی میکنیم آگاهی بدیم تو جامعه، میتونیم بعدهای خوب این مسئولیت اخلاقی رو نشون بدیم که اگر با هر عقیده‌ای هممون ایران رو دوست داشته باشیم، میتونیم اون ایران آباد و آزاد رو به کمک شما بسازیم. و یه مسئله کوچیک آخرش این که سعی میکنیم واقعا از دانشجوها حمایت کنیم. دانشجوها نور چشمیایمان و اگر حمایتشون کنیم میتونن مستقل بمونن و وقتی مستقلن میتونن آزاد باشن، فکر و روحیه باز داشته باشن و آینده کشور بسازن.
So this was the video about patriotism. Now, the reason why we Iranians are working so hard to rebuild our patriotism is because this demon pedophile, right? So remember, guys, this is Khomeini, Khabar Margesh. Khomeini is not only the founder of the terrorist Islamic regime. By the way, guys, what does a black turban mean? Pop quiz. Iranians don't answer. Pop quiz time. What does a black turban mean? What does the black turban mean? Exactly, guys. Jeremy, wow, 2 for 2. Jeremy got it. Nathaniel got it. There you go. Nathaniel, Saucy got it. Daniel, yeah, the good duck, descendant of Mo. I mean, they're all retarded, but more, you have to be more specific. East Side guy. Soapbox says Sayyid. Yep, Sayyid. So not higher in the mullah hierarchy. It just means that they're a descendant of Muhammad, the the Arab warlord, right? So exactly, lineage. So Dan says Momo's offspring, lineage of Muhammad descendants. There you go, guys, right? So guys, see, this is why it's so important. So always remember, whenever you see a black turban head talking about Iran, they're not Iranian, they're Arab, right? Because the black turban literally means that they're one of the, bastard descendants of Muhammad, the dead Arab warlord that they worship, right? So as you can see, this and I think Khomeini is actually from India, right? So Khomeini is not even Iranian. Khomeini Khabar Margesh, he's actually from India, from like the northern Kashmir part or whatever. So he's actually Indian. No offense to, like, this isn't an insult to our wonderful Indian Hindu supporters, because in India, Hindus are also fighting against the Durkas, right? India is unfortunately infested with the Durkas. So Khomeini is a Durka who's literally from India. All Iranians, we know that, right? And then they basically falsified, guys. They falsified his birth info or whatever to make it seem like he's Iranian, but he's not. He's literally from the northern parts of India, and he has Indian heritage. So anyway, so not only is he like from the northern parts of India, he also wears like a black turban to basically say that he's like a descendant of Muhammad, the dead Arab warlord. So there's literally nothing Iranian about this guy, okay? But listen to this part. So this is the moment, like this is just right after he came to Iran and turned Iran into a 7th century Islamic hellhole. Listen to what he says about Islam versus patriotism, okay?
اسلام آمده است که این حرفای نامربوط را از بین ببرد. افراد ملی به درد ما نمیخورن، افراد مسلم به درد ما میخورن.
Right, so this is my own translation, but I didn't translate it super accurately. So when he says, so he says Islam has come to destroy these irrelevant people. By irrelevant people, he means patriots. And then he says, we don't want patriots, right? We don't want patriots. We don't want Iranian patriots. He says, we want Muslims. Islam is compatible with patriotism. So this is like my earlier translation before, like I mistranslated this. So it shouldn't be Iranian nationalism, it's patriotism. So he says Islam is incompatible with patriotism. And then he says patriotism means we want a nation instead of Islam, right? So guys, for all of you, especially in the United States and other countries, right? When you see all these, Durkas that are mass importing into your countries, and they're like, oh, no, we want Sharia law. There's a reason, right? Their religious ideology. By the way, this is the spiritual leader, right? Like this Durka. He is Zohran Mamdani's spiritual leader. So keep that in mind. The mayor of New York City sees this guy as like his Islamic jihadi terrorist version of the Pope, right? Like this is basically the Islamic jihadi terrorist version of the Pope for Zohran Mamdani, okay? So this is who Zohran Mamdani and his family worship, this demon, whose face he basically looks like the feces of Satan, and he wrote a book on how to sodomize infant babies while it's still halal, right? So this demon actually wrote a book on how it is halal to sodomize infant girls before they reach the age of 9. That includes literal infants, right? So basically, when he came to Iran and took over Iran with the help of Jimmy Carter and the Democrats, by the way, and I've spoken about that, but he says patriotism means we want a nation instead of Islam. Well, yeah, because we're patriots. We put our country first. We put our flag first. We put our identity first over religion. But as you can tell, for the Muslim Nazis, they don't want patriotism. For them, it's all about Islam. It's about jihad, right? And then he continues and he says, anyways, the Shah in exile. So now you guys know what he's saying. So this is what the Muslim Nazis think about patriotism. Okay?
اسلام آمده است که این حرفای نامربوط رو از بین ببرد. افراد ملی به درد ما نمیخورن، افراد مسلم به درد ما میخورن. اسلام با ملیت مخالف است. معنی ملیت این است که ما ملت را میخوایم، ملیت را میخوایم و اسلام را نمیخوایم.
Yeah, that's true.
اون مردی که در خارج گفت که اول من ایرانی هستم، ملی هستم، دوم ایرانی هستم، سیوم اسلام، این اسلام نی. تو سیوم هم اسلام نیستی.
Guys, so this is really important. So here, when he is, first of all, he's insulting the Shah. He doesn't actually say the Shah. He says Martike, which is like a very derogatory way of saying like that man, but it's very, very like rude, disrespectful way. But again, when it comes to the Muslim Nazis and the Durkas, you can't expect them to speak like normal people, right? They're low IQ, they're inbred, low education, they're, garbage people, garbage ideology, garbage way of speaking. So just low IQ, everything about them. But this is the important part. So Khomeini, Khabar Margesh, he says the Shah of Iran. Okay, so this is really important. Okay, because the Muslim Nazis and the jihadis and the communists and the woke progressives, right? They try to portray the Shah as a dictator. Okay, the Shah was never a dictator, and when the 1979 Islamic coup d'etat happened, it wasn't because the Shah was a dictator, because he wasn't. Everyone knew that. It happened because the Muslim Nazis had, they brainwashed a lot of people. And then, of course, with the help of Jimmy Carter and the Democrats and France and the UK. And guys, I purposely distinguish between Jimmy Carter and the Democrats versus Americans, because Richard Nixon was a very, very good friend of the Shah. And Richard Nixon was only one of two dignitaries who attended the funeral of our beloved Shahanshah Aryameh when he passed away in 1980. So I will purposely make a distinction between Americans and the Democrats and Jimmy Carter, right? And it's the same thing, right? It's exactly how, like, when we speak about Iran, I like to make a distinction between the Islamic regime versus the Iranian people. When I speak about any other country, right, I make a distinction between the government of the country and the people, right? Because on this show, we're talking about geopolitics. And so, yeah, that's why I make that distinction, because, I don't blame the American people for what Jimmy Carter and the Democrats did. I just blame the people who voted for Democrats, but that's fine. But here's the thing. So the Shah, this is the important part, guys. This is what you need to understand about political Islam. Okay. Now, some would say that there is no difference between political Islam and regular Islam. They're not wrong. They're not wrong. But, for argument's sake, let's just call it political Islam. Anyway, so now this, the feces of Satan, Khomeini, the Muslim pedophile founder of the Islamic regime, he's now criticizing the Shah. Why is he criticizing the Shah? Because, wait, I see the one question here. Let me just, Bowieeville, I see your question about Christians and Jews. I'll answer that at the end of the live stream. I just started. I'll answer that at the end. But here, so guys, this is what's really important to understand about what Khomeini Khabar Margesh is saying, because this will give you the insight that you need about the Muslim Durkas that are coming to your countries. And, oh, we want to build like a mass mosque complex in Texas, and freedom of religion, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, okay. Let's see what their ideology is. So the Khomeini Khabar Margesh, he's criticizing the Shah, okay? Why? Because the Shah always said that he is an Iranian first. Okay, sorry, he's a patriot first. So the Shah would always say, "I'm a patriot." What does that mean? That means that the Shah would always put the Iranian people first, regardless of what religion they were. Because keep in mind, right, freedom of religion has always been an integral part of Iranian culture, going back to the Zoroastrian times, and of course Cyrus the Great, the founder of the Persian Empire. So for almost 3,000 years, Iranian society has been incredibly religiously diverse, right? We've had Zoroastrians and Muslims and Christians and Jews and Baha'i and agnostic and atheist and Buddhist and whatever you can think of. Every single possible religion pretty much existed in Iran in one form or another, because people were not persecuted, right? Because we believed in freedom of religion. So when the Shah said that I'm a patriot first, that means, right, patriotism is putting your country above all else and the interests of your country. And that means you are a voice for everyone. You are representing everyone, and you're a voice for everyone. Okay, so Khomeini, Khabar Magish, the Muslim Nazi, he's like, the Shah said, I'm a patriot first, Iranian second, and Muslim third. Now, this is where you guys have to pay attention. So the Muslim Nazis, right, the Durkas, the turban heads, are saying, this isn't Islam. You're not Muslim, right? So what are they saying? Guys, they're saying the quiet part out loud, but this is the part that they don't want you to know about, because if you speak about this, you're accused of Islamophobia, right? So what the Muslims are saying is that if you put your country and your flag before Allah and Islam and Muhammad and jihad and like their dead Arab pedophile warlords, right, you're not actually Muslim, because that's not Islam. Because according to Islam, you have to put Islam first. And anyone who puts their country or their flag or prioritizes their patriotism over their religion, they're not a real Muslim. That's not me saying it. That's them. They're the ones who are saying it, okay? This is why history matters. This is why whenever I see anyone who's running for office and they're like, I'm a Muslim candidate, I'm just like, red flag, red flag, red flag, right? Because it literally within their own religion, within their own ideology, they are saying that you can't put your country or your flag above Allah and Islam and jihad. And this is why I say that Islam is fundamentally incompatible with Western civilization, because for Western countries, right, like normal, modern, secular countries, and Iran was a Western country up until 1979, we put our patriotism first. We put our flag first. It was only when the Muslim Nazis took over that, of course, they were like, Allahu Akbar, jihad, Muhammad, and all that, garbage terrorist crap. So there you go, guys. Just a little warning. Just a little warning, right? Apparently anyone who puts their country above Islam is not a real Muslim. So yeah, do I have do warning bells go off in my head when I see a Muslim candidate run for office? Oh, absolutely, 100%. And there's a reason for that. There's a reason for that, right? I mean, just look at all the Muslim politicians right now in Canada, or I don't know, America even, right? Just look at Zohran Mamdani. Just look at Zohran, right? Like the perfect example. The mayor of New York City. The mayor of New York City, right? And this actually goes back to my my interview that I had with David Harris Jr. You know what? I should probably play that interview again, guys, because I got the original I got the original version, so why don't I share this with you guys here? Because I actually spoke about this on American TV on Newsmax. So here, let me download this, and then I'll share it again, right? Because guys, there's a reason. Like when I go on American TV and I speak about the dangers of allowing this ideology into your countries, I'm not exaggerating, guys. I'm not making it up. I promise you, it's real. It's real. And there's a reason for that. So, where was this? Live streams. Okay. Here we go. Okay.
Now to discuss Texas State Representative Carissa Richardson and Iranian American human rights activist Goldie Ghamari. Thank you.
I'm not actually American. I wish I was. I wish I was. Maybe one day, but I'm not American. But honestly, it's that like that's a big compliment. Like the fact that people think I'm American, big compliment, guys. I'll take it. I'll take it.
Both for joining the Pulse this evening. Now, Representative Richardson, you personally stood in front of the McKinney City Council and told them to pause on this vote. But despite all of the backlash, the council still voted 7-0 to move the project forward. So at this point, can anything be done to stop it?
Yes, I believe so. Engineering studies still have to be done. We've had engineers come forward, water engineers, traffic engineers, other people to say that the city should not have okayed this project. So we're hopeful that things can still be stopped. There are ongoing investigations by our governor, Greg Abbott, and our Attorney General, Kim Paxton. There are several ongoing investigations right now. So my ask of the council was please pause. Do not vote for this right now. Let these investigations play out before you make a final decision. So we believe there's a case for possible foreign interference from Egypt. Egypt was the first country that brought the Imam, Al-Jabali, who's the Imam over the McKinney Islamic Association. They first appointed him to the United States in 2002. So there's possible potential foreign interference there. There are many things that are concerning to us. And so we're hoping that if we can, these investigations play out and we can finish the investigations, hopefully we can stop this.
Yeah, hopefully you do stop it. Now, Goldie, I know you've studied how authoritarian ideologies like Islam take root. Explain how Islamists and radical Muslims are using America's civil liberties and local zoning laws to literally just take over American communities.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me on. First of all, I'm not actually Iranian American. I mean, I wish I was American. I'm Canadian, but with the way things are going in Canada, I might have to seek refuge and asylum in America soon because the problem here in Canada is even worse. But this is exactly how Islam operates. And, you know, that man who was speaking, he's Iranian. And, you know, we Iranians, we understand very clearly how you know, the Islamic regime works and how Sharia law works. And going to what my companion here who was saying, if someone is coming from Egypt, I guarantee you they're part of the Muslim Brotherhood. And Americans need to ask themselves this very important question. How many churches has Saudi Arabia allowed to be built in Saudi Arabia? If you look up the answer is 0. So why is it that, you know, there are 56 Muslim countries and, you know, they can build mosques wherever, but you can't build a church in Saudi Arabia, and yet they're mass importing to the United States, importing their ideology with them, and then they're taking advantage of the civil liberties and freedom of religion and freedom of rights in the United States to import their ideology. This is all part of the civilizational jihad that the Muslim Brotherhood and the Islamic regime occupying Iran wants to bring to the United States. It happened to Iran in 1979, and now it's slowly happening to Americans.
Yeah, and it's happening all over Europe. It's happening, I mean, they're literally trying to take over the globe. Now, city staff, they argue that this was just a routine land use permit and that they were legally forced to sign off on it. So, Representative Richardson, as a lawmaker on the state level, what specific laws are you drafting or looking to draft to give local leaders the authority to stop these types of projects?
We have several bills already being drafted for the next legislative session, which will be next January. The problem is we need to pause these things until the legislature can be back in office and pass the laws. And then it would be September before they would take effect. So we have a part-time legislature. We're only down in Austin every other year. So when these things come up, we either have to call a special session or we have to wait until next year to do something about it. So we need to put a pause on these things, let the investigations play out, and then enact new legislation that gives more tools to the cities and the counties to stop this encroachment.
Yeah, well, Goldie, based on your experience with radical movements like this, what signs should local governments look out for when they're evaluating projects tied to Islam?
Well, see, the challenge here is that, and I say this as a former politician myself. Now, keep in mind, I was a Canadian politician and I was kicked out of my party because the National Council of Canadian Muslims, which is the Canadian version of CARE America, so CARE Canada, accused me of Islamophobia because I was speaking out about the dangers of radical Islam. So what these jihadi movements do is they come in and they take advantage of the systems that is already in place. Because keep in mind, when the American Constitution was drafted, or when all of these local laws and regulations are being created, they're not created with thinking about the fact that there might be this evil ideology out there that wants to come and take over and basically destroy American society. But that's how they operate here, and I would just say, it's just if it walks like a duck and talks like a duck, it is a duck. And I mean, this is a red flag, and that Iranian man was absolutely right. So I would say to everyone in Texas and everywhere else, listen to Iranians. There's a reason that we Iranians are asking for President Trump to destroy the Islamic regime, because it's like a cancer, and once you allow that cancer to take root in your country, good luck getting rid of it, because now it's been 47 years, and we Iranians, after 47 years, are trying to get rid of this Islamic cancer in the country.
All while it's trying to grow and breed here. Well, Texas Representative Carissa Richardson, Goldie, Ghamari, God bless you guys. Thanks for joining the Pulse tonight.
Guys, I would make a very good American politician, because everything that I always say, even saw Carissa, she was just I think she was just awestruck, and she's just nodding her head, and then she says absolutely.
Grow and breed here. Well, Texas Representative Carissa.
Right. Let's go back here. So she's absolutely, right? Are asking for President Trump to destroy the Islamic regime, because it's like a cancer. And once you allow that cancer to take root in your country, good luck getting rid of it, because now it's been 47 years, and we Iranians, after 47 years, are trying to get rid of this Islamic cancer in the country.
All while it's trying to grow.
Catch that? She's like, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, guys. So there you go. I'm not even American, and I'm probably more pro-American than every single Democrat out there, right? So there you go, guys. Maybe one day I will move to the States. Guys, I can't run for office in the United States because I'm not an American citizen. Listen, if anyone knows President Trump, give President Trump a call, and tell him that if they want to send me an American citizenship, I'll run in the midterms. They want a star candidate for the midterms. Give me an American citizenship. I will run in the midterms, and I will just shake up the entire system. There you go.
Grow and breed here. Well, Texas Representative Carissa Richardson, Goldie, Ghamari, God bless you guys. Thanks for joining the Pulse tonight.
There you go. So, this is what I talk about when I say, when I warn people about the dangers of Islam and allowing this ideology into your country. It's because we Iranians, we speak from experience. So there you go. But I digress. So let's get to some more news from inside of occupied Iran. So we do have, unfortunately, some sad news. And I've explained this before. So the Islamic regime, given that there are a bunch of savage jihadi terrorist Nazis, Islamic Nazis, they aren't able to stand up to the United States and Israel. What they do instead is they they murder Iranians. Why? Because the Islamic regime is more afraid of the Iranian people than they are of the United States or Israel, because they know that they're illegitimate. They know that the Iranian people want to overthrow them. And so what they've done is they're speeding up death sentences and executions in order to try and discourage Iranians from rising up to overthrow them. So I just want you guys to keep that in mind and remember that. So the closer that the Islamic regime gets to collapse, the more they're going to speed up executions, because this is just how they operate. They're going to try to go scorched earth, and they're becoming more and more desperate, because keep in mind, these are not rational, normal human beings. These are savages. And so speaking about executions, Iranian medical student, guys, so this is a medical student, okay? His name is Sepeh Amirzadeh, born in 2003. Guys, so he's only 26, okay? He's 26 or 27. He has been sentenced to death by the Islamic regime for providing medical aid to wounded protesters during Iran's January national uprising. He was arrested at his home in Isfahan on January 13, 2026, after treating injured protesters. His life is at imminent risk. So, Sepeh Amirzadeh, okay, this is Sepeh Amirzadeh. He's a 26-year-old medical student in Iran. So, you know, very, very smart guy. And he's been sentenced to death by the Muslims for the crime of helping injured protesters. Now, I just want to get the proper term here. Now, you know, anyone who is a doctor or a nurse or, you know, in the healthcare field, you guys are familiar with the Hippocratic Oath, okay? So the Hippocratic Oath is a historical ethical guide for medical doctors. Modern graduation ceremonies use updated versions rather than the ancient text. So the Hippocratic Oath for medical doctors and, of course, you know, healthcare professionals is, you know, do no harm, and of course to help patients, right? Like that's the whole point of being a doctor or being a nurse or being a healthcare professional. So 26-year-old 26-year-old Sepeh Amirzadeh, right? He's 26. He's a medical student in Iran, and he's been sentenced to death for the crime of providing first aid to injured Iranian protesters. Welcome to Islam. Welcome to Sharia law. Okay? This is what happens when you import this ideology into your countries. This is what happens when you let them take over. So because he was providing first aid to innocent young Iranians who were injured by the Muslim Nazis, he's now been sentenced to death, okay? Only in a Muslim country can you be sentenced to death for providing first aid to injured people, right? They're not even like this is how bold the Islamic regime is getting. Okay, this is how emboldened they are. They're not even like, you know, claiming that he's like a Mossad agent or CIA or whatever, right? Because usually what they say, right? Usually they'll slap on the label of, you know, oh, he's a Mossad agent or he's a CIA agent or, you know, he's a traitor or whatever. But no, he's a 26-year-old medical student, and the Islamic regime has said they've sentenced him to death because he was treating and giving first aid to injured people. Yeah. Exactly. Oh my gosh, Vicky, exactly. Like the firefighter who was murdered for helping injured protesters. Yes, absolutely. Let me pull up the firefighter. Hamid Mahdavi. That's his name. Let me pull up a video of Hamid Mahdavi. Right? Guys, the Muslim Nazis don't care about our first responders. They don't, right? This is Hamid Mahdavi, 38 years old. He was murdered by the Muslim Nazis. So here he is, in the white sweatshirt, and he's he's carrying injured protesters from away from harm towards safety, and he just kept on doing this until one of the Muslim Nazis shot him. His name was Hamid Mahdavi.
This is the last footage of Hamid Mahdavi, a firefighter from Mashhad who became a symbol of courage during the Iranian protests. He was filmed repeatedly risking his life to carry wounded protesters away from security forces, only to be shot and killed. His Instagram reveals a character full of life, joy, and humor, driven by a deep love for serving his community. Hamid's story is the story of the Iranian people, those willing to sacrifice everything for freedom. He protected his community until his very last breath. Share his story. Be his voice. This is the last.
It's heartbreaking. This is what they do. This is what the Muslim Nazis do. They purposely murder our best and brightest, right? They murder our best and brightest because they're afraid of the Iranian civilization. So they murder our smart ones. They murder, anyone who's smart or intelligent or good looking. You're immediately targeted and murdered, right? Because we don't have the inbred jihadi Durka genes, right? And they view us as a threat. They view us as a threat. So they murder us. Yeah. Actually, a really horrific story that was shared by this Iranian woman, a young Iranian woman who, she was sharing her experience of being taken and arrested by the Muslim Nazis, by the Basij and the Sepah during one of these protests. This wasn't the recent one. This was from 4 years ago during the Mahsa Amini uprising. And she basically said that when they arrested all the young women, and and ideally the younger the better, right? So they took them away. When she was in jail, being held with all these other Iranian women who were arrested by the Muslim Nazis for protesting, she was 90% of them were under the age of 18. Okay, so the vast majority of women there were the ages of 12 to 24, let's say. But the majority of them were under 18. And the younger you were, and the more attractive you were at a greater risk of being raped, of being gang raped by the Muslim Nazis, and of course being beaten to death. So the younger and more attractive you are, the higher chance of being raped or murdered or shot or whatever by the Muslim Nazis, right? So just another horrifying fact. And you would think that they would, I don't know, maybe spare the women. No, the Muslim Nazis, they're even worse when it comes to Iranian women. And this is not something new, right? So just think about like the Arab Muslim slave trade, and think about like all those paintings, right? Think about like all those paintings where you just see like the Arab Muslims. I mean, I can't even share the paintings on YouTube because these are I don't know, is it this one? Okay, so this one's probably the closest one I can do that doesn't have like any like nudity in it, right? So right, but for example, like there's so many paintings like this. Okay, so I mean, just look up paintings of like just look up Muslim slavery history women painting, right? Just look up something like that and you'll see a whole bunch of paintings depicting accurate historical depictions of women who are slaves and concubines of the Muslims, right? I can't even say Muslim Nazis, literally just the Muslims, because in their religion, in the Quran, their book gives them permission to take non-Islamic women as slaves and concubines and rape them, right? So here's like a depiction of like some woman slave, and then there's like an eunuch. And so guys, remember, he is also a slave, right? Because what the Arab Muslims also did is the Arab Muslims would bring in a lot of slaves from Africa, and then they would castrate them, and then a lot of them would basically just serve in the harems as like guardians or things like that. So a lot of people like to talk about the transatlantic African slave trade, which by the way was terrible, don't get me wrong, right? Like that in of itself was horrible as well, like what happened 300 400 years ago. But sorry, not well, I don't know the times, but you know what I'm talking about. So the African slave trade to the United States was also terrible, right? I'm not discounting that, a horrible thing. However, the Arab Muslim African slave trade has been going on for like 1,000 years, 1,000 years or more. And in fact, it was the Muslims that created the African slave trade in the first place. And it was the Muslims that initially were selling African slaves to the Americans. Until then, of course, Americans banned slavery. So keep in mind, the only reason that right now slavery is frowned upon and banned around the world is because of the Americans, okay? The Americans were the first ones to ban slavery. And the Americans, I mean, that's literally what the Civil War is all about. It's about the Republicans who wanted to ban slavery and the Democrats who were like, no, my slaves, like I need to keep my slaves, right? So yeah, there you go, guys. So if it wasn't for the Americans, the Arab Muslim slave trade would still be happening around the world. Now, is the Arab Muslim slave trade still happening? Yes, absolutely. There's actually a huge, but today they don't call it the slave trade, they call it human trafficking. So human trafficking is a very big part of the Muslim economy. Let's say human trafficking is a big part of the Muslim economy. So yeah, so everyone loves to blame white people for slavery. No one ever blames the Muslim people for slavery, right? Because that would be Islamophobic, even though slavery is still happening. Like there's literally modern day slavery in the Middle East. It's referred to as human trafficking now. But it still exists. And the reason that it exists, it's because it's literally in their culture. It's in their ideology. They believe that they have the right, and their religion tells them that Muslim men have the right to take non-Muslim women as sex slaves and do whatever they want with them. And that's okay. That's legal under Sharia law. So again, another reason why Sharia law is incompatible with Western society. Okay. So, and this is like the most, this is the only PG family friendly picture that I could find of the, Muslim slave trade of, you know, European or white women. Okay. But yes, going back to this. So this is what I mean. Like they go after the best and brightest. And so Sepher Amirzadeh is at risk of being executed because he's been given a death sentence. All right, let me get into some Durka news. Actually, I'm going to save the Durka news for my second live stream. I want to get to some more news about what's happening. Okay, so the Islamic regime has arrested an Iranian man for the crime of liking pro-monarchy posts on Instagram and for having Pahlavi posters in his home. So let's watch this video.
بچه تحت تاثیر قرار گرفته و اینم تابلویی بوده که روی دیوار خونه این آقا بوده. هم میگه بچه این کارو کرده. شغلت چیه؟ باربری. علت دستگیری چیه؟ زیر پست‌های پهلوی لایک و کامنت کاری نکردم گوشی بچه بوده.
Okay guys, so this is what I'm, oh my gosh, like guys, so when okay. Let me add some context here. So if we go to our Boom Boom Durka Jihadi bingo sheet, remember how one of the boxes is IRIB state media, right? Essentially the Durka news network. And the reason that the IRIB and the state media, right, Islamic regime TV, the reason that they are part of the Boom Boom Jihadi bingo sheet, and the reason that Iranians want the United States and Israel to destroy all of the IRIB stations and telecoms and whatever, like we like just bomb them to hell. Okay, we want them destroyed. You want to destroy the Islamic regime, you have to destroy their propaganda mouthpiece. Okay? Do you know why? Because this video right here, this is what the Durka News Network, so this is what this box here, right? Our IRIB state media, what I'm about to show you is what they have been doing for 47 years. This is how sick and demented these Muslim Nazis are. So they have, right? So this is a you know, one of the Durka News Network propagandists, okay? So this is a Muslim Nazi, okay? He is part of the system. He is the mouthpiece of the Islamic regime. And he's holding, as you can see, it's got a picture of the Shah, and you can see the Shah's crown there, okay? So this Muslim propagandist, okay, he is now interviewing this Iranian man, okay? So this is a 41-year-old Iranian man, and he's a laborer, okay? So he's literally like working class, right? Laborer. So you know, just basically whatever job he can get, okay? So he's like you know, he's a poor man, he's just a laborer, he's 41 years old, and he's been arrested for the crime of liking Instagram posts made by His Royal Highness Reza Pahlavi II, okay? So and then he's like, we liked it, it was a mistake. And then like it's so basically, so do you see, like he's standing behind, what is this? This is like the, you know, like the where you go to get your mugshot taken, and then, you know, it's there's like lines behind you to show like your height. Okay, so these are numbers, right? So these numbers here, this is inches. So this is 175, 165, 185. So this guy, he's like approximately, I don't know, 178. Yeah, it's a height chart. It's a height chart. So he's about roughly somewhere like this is 175. So he's like, I don't know, maybe like 180 or something. 170, I don't know. No, he's not 180. He's like I don't know, 176, 177, right? But this is what's horrifying is that the Islamic regime, right? So their propaganda outlets, sorry, not inches, I mean centimeters, 175 centimeters. Yeah, centimeters. But this is the horrifying thing about Durka News Network is for the last 47 years, this is one of the tactics of, oppressing the Iranian people. And this is like the psychological warfare against Iranian people. They literally broadcast stuff like this where Iranians are arrested for the crime of liking an Instagram post, right? Welcome to Islam. Welcome to, welcome to Islam. Welcome to the 47-year nightmare that we Iranians have been dealing with for the last 47 years. They broadcast this stuff on Islamic regime TV as if it's like the most normal thing in the world, right? Look at this.
بچه تحت تاثیر قرار گرفته و اینم تابلویی بوده که روی دیوار خونه این آقا بوده. همین که بچه این کارو کرده. الیکس. شغلت چیه؟ باربری. علت دستگیری چیه؟
باربری.
زیر پست‌های پهلوی لایک و کامنت کاری نکردم گوشی بچه.
So guys, it's not even him. Okay, so he's not even the one that did it. So this man's 10-year-old child, okay, so his 10-year-old child liked some posts and comments from King Reza Pahlavi II, and now the father has been arrested because his child liked Instagram posts by His Royal Highness. Yeah, welcome to Islam.
بوده لایک کرده.
بچه 10 ساله چه میدونه که جاوید شاه چیه که بنویسه جاوید شاه؟
تحت تاثیر فضای مجازی قرار گرفت.
که الان گفتی گوشی دست بچت بوده، استوری گذاشتی، همسرتون هم بوده، ایشون هم پست گذاشتن.
Wow, so he's saying you posted a story on your Instagram supporting the Pahlavis, and then he's like the Durka person. He's like, your wife also posted in support of the Pahlavis.
در حمایت از پهلوی تشویش اذهان عمومی کردیم.
And then he's saying you disturbed public opinion. You made a mistake, right? Do you see this? Do you see how the Muslim Nazis operate? So the fact that this man liked a post, or he put an Instagram post or story where he supports His Royal Highness, the Muslim Nazis are saying to him, you disturbed public opinion. Okay, who is this man? How many followers on Instagram does he actually have? Right? Probably not that many. But the reason that they're going after him is because he's poor. He's a laborer. Okay, he doesn't have any connections. He probably doesn't have any money. So he's basically a scapegoat. He's a scapegoat. And they've now taken him. They've arrested him for the crime of liking Instagram posts, and somehow, he's so influential that he's disturbing public opinion. And then they're like, you made a mistake. Guys, this is much more serious because now his life is at risk. Guys, they might execute him, right? There's a high probability, there's a high likelihood that they might execute him. And the Islamic regime has purposely blurred his face because they don't want us to know who he is. They don't want us to speak out about him or say his name. So this is the new tactic, because before what they would do is when they posted, confession videos like this, they would show the faces and they would mention the names. But now that they've blurred his face, like, how can we identify who he is? So how can we actually be his voice? Because we don't know who he is. Meanwhile, the Muslim Nazis, right? Again, this is Islam, guys. Remember, this is Sharia law. This is Islam. This is what happens when you allow Muslims to take over your country. They literally monitor what you do on social media, and if you like something, they come after you.
در حمایت از پهلوی تشویش اذهان عمومی کردیم.
اشتباه کرده. نفهمیده.
There you go. Absolutely horrifying. So let me play this one more time. This is so important, guys. This is why we Iranians say, right? So when it comes to the boom boom bingo sheet, right? IRIB state media, that's one of the boxes. This is why the IRIB state media is on the boom boom bingo sheet. And this is why, we Iranians, we want the United States and Israel to bomb the communication centers, bomb their TV stations, send them all to hell, because this is not a normal TV station, okay? Not a single TV station within the Islamic regime is a normal TV station. They are all mouthpieces and propaganda outlets of the Islamic regime. They're all run and operated for the purpose of spreading Muslim Nazi propaganda. So destroy it all, because they literally use Islamic TV news, like the Durka News Network. They use it to try and frighten Iranians into not rising up.
بچه تحت تاثیر قرار گرفته و اینم تابلویی بوده که روی دیوار خونه این آقا بوده. همین که بچه این کارو کرده.
الیکس.
شغلت چیه؟
باربری.
علت دستگیری چیه؟
زیر پستای پهلوی لایک و کامنت کاری نکردم. گوشی بچه بوده لایک کرده.
بچه 10 ساله چه میدونه که جاوید شاه چیه که بنویسه جاوید شاه؟
تحت تاثیر فضای مجازی قرار گرفت.
تو الان گفتی گوشی دست بچت بوده، استوری گذاشتی، همسرتون هم بوده، ایشون هم پست گذاشتن در حمایت از پهلوی تشویش اذهان عمومی کردی.
اشتباه کرده. نفهمیده.
There you go. So absolutely horrifying stuff, right? And they literally they torture people and they induce forced confessions on live TV. This is what the Muslim Nazis live for. Like, they love this kind of stuff, right? The Muslim Nazis absolutely love doing these forced confession videos, and they've been doing it for 47 years, and it's just absolutely horrifying. This is a good one. Wait, what? Look. Oh, wait. Sorry, no, that's I have to save that for, that's behind a paywall. Sorry, guys. Okay, I'm gonna go to this one instead. Okay. Now I spoke a little bit earlier. Remember, I spoke earlier about how the Muslim Nazis, they'll go after, young, attractive women. So this is exactly footage of that. So you're about to see a video of the Basij. Remember, the Basij are the Muslim volunteers who go out and murder Iranian people. They're armed and they're dangerous. And the Basij, they operate out of the mosques, by the way. So the Basij, they're super ultra religious. Okay. The Basij are basically like the paramilitary volunteer Gestapo. And this right now, you're about to see a video of them. They've surrounded this young Iranian woman, and they are mocking her and they're groping her. So essentially, she's about to be S8. And this is already so this is being shared by Iran International. Okay, so, and someone else filmed it secretly. So a citizen, by sending a video to Iran International, said that at 11 p.m. in the Sabzi Maidan underpass in Isfahan, right? So this is an underpass. A number of Basij forces in plainclothes stopped a young woman and subjected her to mockery and groping, right? So remember, guys, when it comes to Islam, Muslim women are fair game. Sorry, non-Muslim women are fair game. So just fair warning. So the man who's filming, he's like, you guys, like, you know, you guys, like, leave her alone, like, leave. There's some like دختر مردم, like, you know, like she's you know, she's someone's daughter, like, leave her alone. So basically what's happening here is, just because this young Iranian girl is walking without covering her hair, the Muslim Nazis, they're in plain clothes here, by the way, so they're not in uniform, they're in plain clothes. They surround her and they start groping her and then yelling at her at the same time. Now, why do they grope her? Because according to Islam, you know, a woman is responsible if she's raped, right? So according to their religion and their ideology, any woman who shows her hair is asking for it, okay? So Iranian women oftentimes, well, actually, like the vast majority of times that Iranian women report, like if an Iranian woman is raped, okay, by like a Muslim Nazi, if she reports it, she will be hanged because she'll be convicted of the crime of, you know, muharibah, waging war against Allah. Because according to Islam, if a woman is raped, it's her fault because she provoked the man by not covering her hair. And, you know, like she's not wearing anything sexual. She's literally like her entire body is covered up. But because her hair is showing, the Muslim men walk up to her and they start groping her and then yelling at her at the same time, right? Did you see that? Did you see how this man, like this gross ass man, do you see his arm? Nope, like he's like rubbing his arm, he's rubbing his hand all over her body from like her chest down to like between her legs. It's so disgusting, right? Look at that. Absolutely, like, again, you know, disgusting behavior, disgusting religion, disgusting ideology, right? Now, on something very interesting. We have an interview with the top Muslim Nazi advisor. So the top advisor to the Islamic regime's Revolutionary Guard sits down for a rare interview. So let's watch this and let's see what the Durka has to say, because wow. So who are we speaking about here? I don't know if he's on the Boom Boom Bingo sheet, guys. Let me see. Is he on the Boom Boom Bingo sheet? I don't think he is. Nakti. Is he here? Like, he might not actually be. Oh, he is, guys. He is, guys. Okay, guys. We have unlocked a new Durka on the Boom Boom Bingo sheet. Okay, guys. So for those of you who are keeping track of the Boom Boom Bingo sheet, we have unlocked a new character. So this guy, Naqdi, this one here. Okay. We have unlocked a new character. Did someone get bingo? Who knows? I don't know if you got bingo, but guys, we've unlocked a new Durka. Okay, so new Durka unlocked on day 211. Mohammad Reza Naqdi, former Basij commander. By the way, remember, Basij, okay? The video that I just showed you guys earlier of the Muslim men who were groping and essaying that Iranian women, they were Basij. So he is the former commander of the Basij. Okay, so just that in and of itself should give you a pretty good sense of the kind of person that this Durka terrorist is, right? So anyway, so this is Naqdi. So on the Boom Boom Bingo sheet, he's in the IRGC box, and he's right there at the bottom corner. So guys, new Durka unlocked. There you go. So now he's here in an interview with PBS, and this was posted a couple of days ago. So let's watch this Durka interview.
Easy stalemate. We hear now from a top advisor.
Okay.
As the war with Iran continues its uneasy stalemate.
I mean, it's actually the Islamic regime, but sure, that's fine.
We hear now from a top advisor to the overall commander of Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, the force largely responsible for border and internal security. The U.S. and many other nations have designated it a terrorist organization.
Which it is.
The IRGC, as it's known, rarely give interviews and almost never to Western media. But Commander Mohammad Reza Naqdi sat down this morning in Tehran for an exclusive interview with special correspondent Reza Sayah.
How did they get permission to go to occupied Iran? Guys, there's no freedom of press in occupied Iran. Okay, there's no freedom of press. The only foreign correspondents who actually go to Iran are ones who have agreed to promote Islamic jihadi propaganda. No, he's not the overall commander. So David is asking, is he the overall commander? No. The overall commander is General Skidmark. Okay, so going back here, the overall commander is General Skidmark. He was the de facto commander up until a few days ago, and then a few days ago he was officially promoted to the IRGC commander. So he's the commander, but Naqdi, right? So where is he? So Naqdi has become the top advisor. So he's the advisor to General Skidmark, and the reason that the Islamic regime they're pulling out all of these like Durkas from retirement is because there's just too many dead ones, right? So America and Israel have boomed so many of them that they just don't have enough people to replace. So that's why they're literally pulling these old jihadi terrorist Muslim Nazi fossils out of retirement and making them come back, right? And Naqdi is one of them. So yeah, so he's not the commander, but he's like the top consultant or, whatever. A Muslim Nazi is a Muslim Nazi is a Muslim Nazi. But yeah, okay, guys, already the fact that this interview is happening in Tehran, right? Like, red flags right there, because no one is allowed to do an interview in Tehran unless they've agreed to, I don't know, promote Islamic regime propaganda. And what was the name that he gave?
And almost never to Western media.
Yeah.
But Commander Mohammad Reza Naqdi sat down this morning in Tehran for an exclusive interview with special correspondent Reza Sayah.
Reza Sayah. PBS. I need to look into this. Oh my gosh. Wait. Wait, guys, isn't a special correspondent someone that doesn't necessarily work for a media outlet, but they're like hired on contract or something? Wait. Yeah. Okay, guys, like this is wild. So, this Iranian man named Reza Saya. Oh my gosh, he's like another version of Marandi. Yeah. Oh wow, look at him. So look, here he is. So this is from March 1st. He was a correspondent for France 24. Now this guy is now a correspondent for PBS. So wow. Okay, guys. So basically, this guy, he's like the equivalent of a Hamas reporter. So you know how Hamas, they have, special correspondents in Gaza, and they basically serve Hamas, but they pretend to be journalists, right? So, guys, this is absolutely insane. This is like this in and of itself, because PBS is funded by American taxpayer dollars, which means that Americans, your taxpayer dollars are paying this special correspondent who is essentially a mouthpiece for the Islamic regime, because keep in mind, there's no free press in the media. So this is how the Islamic regime controls the narrative. The Islamic regime controls the narrative by propping up certain people like this Reza Saya person as sort of the, oh, this guy's like an independent journalist or whatever, and then various news outlets will hire him on as a special correspondent. Basically that just means contract work. Okay, so basically he's hired on contract, and then he basically just spouts Islamic regime propaganda. Wow. Okay, good job, PBS. I don't know, man. Americans, if I were you, I would be writing to whoever within President Trump's administration who is responsible for overseeing PBS, because if I was American, I would be very, very pissed off that my American taxpayer dollars are going to fund a propagandist of the Islamic regime.
Commander Naqvi, thank you very much for sitting down with us. It has been a long-running policy of Iran's Revolutionary Guard to never speak to American media. What changed? Why did you agree to sit with us?
In the name of God.
Oh my gosh, he literally starts off with the whole like or on jihadi garbage guys, look at that. Do you see how they are? Oh my gosh, like just right away.
To never speak to American media. What changed? Why did you agree to sit with us?
In the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful.
Okay, he doesn't act. Okay, that translation is not accurate. He doesn't say in the name of God. He says in the name of Allah, right? Oh yeah, guys, you can see his skid mark. Yeah, obviously you can see his skid mark.
Speak to American media. What changed? Why did you agree to sit with us?
In the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful. We never received a request to reject it. We would like for our voice to reach the ears of people in Western countries. It's Western media that don't like our voice to be heard. There's nothing we do that's indefensible and outside the values of humanity that we would want to cover up or not discuss.
Oh, really? Really? So, so this right here, this is not outside the values of humanity, where a bunch of Muslim men are sexually assaulting a young Iranian woman, right? Or the fact that you guys literally walk around and you shoot people, or I don't know, the fact that you have you've sentenced a 26-year-old Iranian medical student, Sepher Amirzadeh. You've sentenced him to death for the crime of providing first aid to Iranian protesters. So guys, this is what you have to keep in mind. When these like Durka jihadi terrorists are saying nothing we do is outside of humanity or blah, 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 they're speaking about Islamic society. Okay. So basically, you know, in his demented evil head, he actually believes that he's speaking the truth, because his truth is the Quran, and the Quran says that Muslims are allowed to murder non-Muslims. Muslims are allowed to sexually assault non-Muslim women, right? So when he keep this in mind, when he's referring to humanity or, you know, whatever, he's referring to the Islamic society, Islamic ideology, Islamic culture, and Islamic values, right? He's not referring to, yeah, exactly, and to lie to non-believers 100%. So when he speaks about nothing we do is outside of like humanity, that's because he, as a Muslim, legitimately believes that only Muslims are human and non-Muslims are not human, right? So when Muslims murder non-Muslims, that's not like, you know, against humanity, because they don't view non-Muslims as human, right? So so keep that in mind. So here, like every time he speaks about society or humanity or whatever, just assume that he's only referring to like Muslims, okay? It doesn't apply, what he's saying, it does not apply to non-Muslims, because we're all infidels, and according to their religion, they can murder us. In fact, they are obligated to murder us in order to protect Islamic society.
We would like for our voice to reach the ears of people in Western countries. It's Western media that don't like our voice.
Yeah, you want your voice to reach Western countries so that you can indoctrinate and infiltrate people, you evil jihadi Durka. And guys, that right there, so that is actually, that's the flag of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps is a listed terrorist entity in the United States, and of course in Canada and many other countries. So keep that in mind. Guys, PBS is broadcasting an interview with, this is like the modern day equivalent of having an interview with a Nazi. Okay, so just think about this. Imagine if, like during World War II, PBS had an interview with, you know, a Nazi, and then, you know, the Nazi was in his Nazi uniform, and they have the Nazi flag behind them. Okay, this is the modern day equivalent of that. So I just want you guys to think about that, okay, especially Americans. So your American taxpayer dollars have now paid for a jihadi terrorist news reporter in occupied Iran to have an interview with a Nazi on American state TV. And it's full on like Nazi paraphernalia, Nazi flags, right? Like it's just full on Nazi, and your taxpayer dollars are paying for this. And that Nazi literally starts off by saying that you know, Western media doesn't want to hear of, yeah, because you're a Nazi. You're a Nazi. You're a Muslim Nazi terrorist. Guys, he's so fat. He's so fat that his uniform doesn't even fit him properly. He's so fat because he's been feeding off of the blood of young Iranian people, right? So while Iranians, regular Iranians, 70% of Iranians live below the poverty line, they can't even afford to buy eggs or chicken. Meanwhile, this Durka with the skid mark on his forehead, he's so fat that his own uniform doesn't even fit him. His buttons are popping out. Do you see this? Maggot. Look at this. Look how fat he is. Do you see that?
To American media. What changed? Why did you agree to sit with us?
In the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful, we never received a request to reject it. We would like for our voice to reach the ears of people in Western countries. It's Western media that don't like our voice to be heard. There's nothing we do that's indefensible and outside the values of humanity that we would want to cover up or not discuss.
Let's talk about this war.
Okay, how insane is it? Guys, do you see this? Do you see what this is, guys? Look at that. Those are the crayons. This so-called PBS special correspondent, his background is literally the Durkas, the crayons, right? The pointy crayons. And then right on top of his head, that's Khomeini Khabar Margash and Khamenei Khabar Margash and Mujtaba right here, right? So this PBS news reporter, his background are the pointy crayon missiles, the Khorramshahr, whatever, and then pictures of the supreme dictators on top. And he's supposedly a PBS correspondent. And PBS, like, I don't know, man, right? Like, I told you guys, he's a Durka. I told you, he's the mouthpiece of the Islamic regime, and you're seeing it right here.
Where do you see Iran in this juncture of the war?
Why is his mouth open?
Or not discuss.
Let's talk about this war. Where do you see Iran in this juncture of the war? Do you see yourself as winning? Are you in control?
Certainly, victory is on our side. After the defeat of America's two main objectives, the toppling of the leadership and the breaking up of Iran, we saw confusion and bewilderment in America.
What do you mean breaking up of Iran? Guys, so you see this? So he just mentioned the breaking up of Iran. Remember, guys, I told you, the separatist narrative, that is a narrative that is pushed by the Islamic regime. The separatist narrative is something that's created by the Islamic regime, and it's been used for the last 47 years to try and scare Iranians into not rising up, because the Islamic regime has said, oh, America wants to separate Iran, and if you allow them, if you don't support us, then Iran will be chopped up, just like Yugoslavia or something. Like it's a total lie. It's a total lie, right? But now the Muslim Nazis, he's literally saying that one of the United States goals was to chop up Iran, which that's never been the case. That's never been the case, right? Like no one has ever said that. In fact, American politicians have always been very respectful of Iran's territorial integrity. But this is you're literally seeing like the propaganda outlet here, right? And I guarantee you, the special reporter, he's not going to challenge this Durka on this.
Main objectives, the toppling of the leadership and the breaking up of Iran, we saw confusion and bewilderment in America. It became a war without a strategy. Every 2 or 3 days, they announced a new objective. For several nights, they said they want to invade Karg Island. They said they want to open the Strait of Hormuz. They mobilized their battleships. Everything they tried, we can show how we were victorious.
In your view, is it inevitable that Iran has won?
No, we have not yet reached our final objective. This is clear. Up until now, we are victorious. In the future, we will continue to be victorious. The longer this war lasts, the more experience we gain. We had never seen a real war to gain real experience, to learn how to fight with America. In these 5 months, we have learned how. We have also seen how the American military is weaker than what we perceived.
Is it Iran's objective to drag out this war, to maybe wait until
Do you also see how this so-called special correspondent, he doesn't say the Islamic regime, right? He says Iran. He says Iran. There's a reason. So this guy, he is one of the propaganda mouthpieces of the Islamic regime. What's really scary here is that he speaks with like a full-on American accent, right? So like there's no discernible accent here, which means that he obviously spent most of his life in the United States. I don't know his background. I don't know where he was born, but the fact that he speaks fluent English, so he's lived most of his life in the United States, you know, just like me, right? Like I speak fluent English as well, you know, obviously Canadian accent, Toronto accent, whatever. But I have no discernible Iranian accent, right? Because I have lived in Canada most of my life, and I basically learned English in Canada. So that's why I speak, you know, English with no accent here. I mean, sometimes my Iranian accent will come out, but I have to like really force it, right? Like I can be like, hello, how are you? Whatever. I don't know. But anyway, but you can see this is the scary part. He has no accent when he's speaking English, which means he has lived in the United States for most of his life, okay? Most of his life, at least his young life, okay? Because in order to not have an accent, you pretty much have to live in a country and learn the language before the age of 7 or 8, okay? Like studies have been done, like I don't know if anyone here is like a linguistic expert or anything, but my understanding is that in order to learn a language with no accent, you have to start learning the language before the age of like 7 or 8 or something. If you're older than that, you'll always have a little bit of like an accent. So he has no accent. And what's really scary here is that this pretty much means he lived, you know, his younger years, he was in the United States, and yet he was still radicalized enough. And now he is in occupied Iran, and he has become a mouthpiece for the Islamic regime. But the fact that he does not have an accent, this is what the Islamic regime is using to fool non-Iranians, right? Because he doesn't have an accent, that makes him more relatable to people who speak English, right? Because people who speak English, right? It's a psychological thing, right? It's a psychological thing. So the fact that he can speak fluent English with no accent, that makes him more relatable, and it makes him more. It's just easier to absorb. Guys, it's the same thing with me, right? It's the same thing with me. The fact that I speak English with no accent is just easier to relate to. I mean, I use my powers for good. This jihadi is using his powers for evil. Okay, so that's a difference. I'm using my powers for good. He's using his powers for evil. And he specifically, right? Like he's specifically saying Iran instead of the Islamic regime, right? So this is how the Islamic regime operates. This is how they infiltrate. This is how they use their international propaganda machine to infiltrate and influence the West.
We have learned how. We have also seen how the American military is weaker than what we perceived.
Is it Iran's objective to drag out this war, to maybe wait until Mr. Trump is out of office?
Look, we have to attain deterrence so that the enemy never dares to attack us, so we can live with security. One way is to prolong this war until we get to the next term of the presidency and cause attrition, so that if anyone else wants to attack Iran, they will know there is a cost.
This week, on at least 2 occasions, maybe more, Iranian forces attacked non-military ships that were trying to cross through the Strait of Hormuz. What is Iran's objective in attacking civilian ships?
When we are at war, vessels need to pass through a region we can control. When they leave an area that we control, it could be that they're transporting supplies for the enemy.
Do you not see that is a violation of international law, attacking civilian ships.
When you're in a state of war, any thoroughfare deemed to be a threat, we can control it. This is international law. Anywhere in the world where there is war, this law exists.
One of your most effective weapons in this war has been your missiles and your drones. Reports said before the war, you had about 3,000 to 4,000 missiles. How many missiles do you have in your stockpile right now?
First of all, we are not reliant on missiles and drones. If we are victorious, we relied on our faith to be victorious. God is with us. As for our missiles, the Americans and the Zionists always want to count our missiles. First of all, the number of missiles we manufacture every day is more than the number we launch. In a country this vast, we can make them wherever we want.
Where are you making them? Is it deep underground?
We do it in different ways. We have various ways to manufacture them securely. Rest assured, even if this war lasts for years, until the last day, Iran's rockets will be launched. I will make this point, and this is more important than missiles. If there comes a day when Iran has no more missiles left, that's when we will be even more dangerous for America.
How would you be more dangerous?
Because America has thousands of economic interests throughout the world, and all of them can be easily destroyed.
Military officers often put themselves.
Guys, basically what he means is suicide bombers. What he's basically saying is that they have a lot of sleeper cells in the United States.
Themselves in the place of their rivals and the enemy to maybe predict what they're going to do. Put yourself in Pete Hegseth's place. What is he thinking? What is your prediction as to what he...
What an idiotic question. Okay, so how is a Muslim Nazi ever going to be able to put themselves in the place of someone like Pete Hegseth? Like, this is just right away, guys. This answer is going to be like hilarious. Oh my gosh.
I will never put myself in his place. He is a criminal who killed 168 innocent children.
No, you did. You guys did. You guys murdered the children. You guys murdered over 54,000 innocent unarmed Iranians on January 8 and 9. Do you guys see how literally the Muslim Nazis are responsible for every single death in Iran? Not only do they murder Iranians, they use Iranian children as human shields. And then, unfortunately, when those children lose their lives, because the Muslim Nazis have been using them as human shields, they blame the Americans, right? It's just what they do.
Not only do these people not work for the benefit of humanity, they don't even work for America.
Wow.
Children. Not only do these people not work for the benefit of humanity, they...
So remember, when he says the benefit of humanity, he's not actually referring to humanity. He's referring to Muslims, right? He's referring to Islamic society. So he said, when he says that Americans don't work for the benefit of humanity, what he actually means is that Americans don't work for the benefit of Muslim Nazis. Yeah, I would hope not. I mean, thank God. God bless America. God bless America that they're not working for the benefit of Muslim Nazis, because that would be a travesty, right?
Not only do these people not work for the benefit of humanity, they don't even work for America. They work for their own interests. As soon as the stock market closes, they start hostility.
And guys, keep in mind, like, this is gaslighting 101, because it's actually the Islamic regime, right? Like, what he just said here, this part about how, they don't work, not only are they not working for the benefit of humanity, they're not working for the interests of the United States. Replace United States with Iran, and you're speaking about the Islamic regime, right? So remember, every accusation that the Islamic regime makes is an admission of guilt, right? So remember, it's the Muslim Nazis. Not only are the Muslim Nazis not operating for the benefit of humanity, they're also not benefiting, they're also not representing the Iranian people or working to represent the Iranian people. They're anti-Iranian. They literally murder us, right? And I just shared numerous videos of how the Muslim Nazis are oppressing and murdering Iranians earlier in the live stream.
Put yourself in Pete Hegseth's place.
Why is his mouth open? Why, guys, he's so gross. Like, دهنشو نگاه کن. Wait, look at this.
Destroyed.
Military officers often put themselves in the place of their rivals and the enemy to maybe predict what they're going to do.
Look at his mouth. Like, why is his mouth open? Like, look, like it's just dahanto bibant. Like I can smell his bad breath from here. Also, one thing I've noticed is, do you see how like the reporter, the jihadi reporter, Durka reporter, is now speaking to him as if he's speaking to like someone who is, pardon my language, retarded. Like he's using over-exaggerated hand gestures, and he's speaking to like the Durka as if he's speaking to like a retard. I mean, he is, but
Military officers often put themselves in the place of their rivals and the enemy to maybe predict what they're going to do. Put yourself in Pete Hegseth's place. What is he thinking? What is your prediction as to what he might do?
I will never put myself in his place. He is a criminal who killed 168 innocent children.
no, you guys.
Not only do these people not work for the benefit of humanity, they don't even work for America. They work for their own interests. As soon as the stock market closes, they start hostilities. When the stock market opens, they send positive messages to raise stock prices. All the while, they are buying and selling the stocks themselves. If I was in the place of the American Congress, I would call for an investigative committee to compare the assets of Mr. Trump, his family, and his inner circle before the war to their assets after the war.
You idiot! President Trump doesn't even take salary. President Trump has like he doesn't take the presidential salary. My understanding is that he basically like he said don't pay me a salary, and he just like he donates it to like whatever cause or whatever. Like this is wild, right? Meanwhile, the Democrats, I mean, look at Nancy Pelosi and look at Ilhan Omar, right? Ilhan Omar is worth what, like $30 million now, right? And these guys, they're all worth billions, right? They're worth millions, if not billions of dollars, because they steal the money. So the Islamic regime, there is no functioning stock market in Iran because it's not a functioning country, right? Iran has been a failed state since 1979. As soon as the Muslims took over and as soon as the Muslims imposed Sharia law, Iran became a failed state. Okay, so we are literally a failed state. There's just no other way to put that. And we're trying to fix our country to make it come out of the failed state. However, what's insane here is that these Durkas literally steal billions and billions of dollars every year to line their own pockets. But then he's like, oh, go look at Trump and how much Trump has stolen from the stock market. You fat idiot. Like, just get a uniform that fits you. Oh my gosh. Like, how embarrassing is this?
Many observers say Iran has put up a...
And then, guys, you know what? You know what's wild? This Durka reporter, he's not even pushing back, right? So he's not pushing back against anything that this Durka terrorist is saying, okay? This is very, very, very similar to Tucker Carlson, when Tucker Carlson interviewed Pezeshkian, I think it was last summer, remember? It was last summer, and Tucker Carlson interviewed Pezeshkian, and you would basically just ask a question, and then Pezeshkian would spout whatever jihadi Durka garbage that Pezeshkian wanted to give, and the reporter never pushed back. The reporter never pushed back. They would just give the answer, and then the reporter would just go to the next question. And that's exactly what's happening here. Like, it's wild.
Many observers say Iran has put up a strong fight, but that America has one weapon that Iran doesn't, and that's a nuclear bomb. In your view, how likely is it for America to use a nuclear bomb?
Naturally, it can end up being a mistake for them. The morning.
Did you catch that question? So the reporter is like, how likely is it that America will use a nuclear bomb? What? Like, guys, I called it, right? So hashtag Goldie is always right. Hashtag Goldie is always right. I told you that this Reza Saya guy, he is the English mouthpiece of the Islamic regime. And that's why he's being used as a foreign correspondent on all these various news channels, including, PBS. And now look at these questions he's asking, right? And PBS broadcasts this. That's what's unbelievable to me. How is PBS even allowing this sort of garbage to be broadcast? Like, what kind of question is that? How likely is America to use a nuclear weapon? Not at all. Like, what? Are you kidding me right now?
To their assets after the war.
Many observers say Iran has put up a strong fight, but that America has one weapon that Iran doesn't, and that's a nuclear bomb. In your view, how likely is it for America to use a nuclear bomb?
Naturally, it can end up being a mistake for them. The morning after they use a bomb, all of America's military bases around the world would be occupied. Today, things are different than World War II. The people of the world have awakened. No one in the world will allow for such a crime to be committed, because the next time it could be themselves.
Washington has long claimed that Iran is a threat to Israel. Israel says Iran wants to build a bomb to destroy Israel. Does Iran want to destroy Israel?
Yes.
Iran has only one thing to say about occupied Palestine, and this is something our martyred leader.
So guys, when he says Iran, first of all, he means the Islamic regime, right? So the fact that he said the Islamic regime has only one thing to say about occupied Palestine, essentially, yes, right? Because remember, Palestine is fake, and these Durkas, they're not Iranian. Like they're from I don't even say Palestine, right? They're from, I don't know, Najaf, or I don't know, like most of them are from Saudi Arabia, right? Like they're from the Arabian Peninsula, and then they've just like conquered, or various parts of the Middle East. But the fact that he doesn't even say Israel, he says occupied Palestine. Right there, the answer is yes. Okay, so whatever he's about to say, the answer is basically yes. The Islamic regime wants to destroy Palestine. In fact, that's one of the core foundational pillars of the Islamic regime. It's their never-ending, it's this jihad with Israel in order to destroy Israel and to conquer Jerusalem, right? But like just garbage people, garbage.
Iran want to destroy Israel?
Iran has only one thing to say about occupied Palestine, and this is something our martyred leader has also said. The leadership there must be chosen based on a majority vote by the people who are connected to that land. This will certainly not...
Yeah. The people connected to the land are the Jewish people, you idiots. The people who are connected to the land are the Jewish people. The same way that Iranians are indigenous to Iran, Jews are indigenous to Israel. And in fact, when you look at ancient civilization and ancient history, there are many ancient civilizations who have a shared history with the Jewish people. That includes Iranians, right? So you know what we don't, you know what there's no mention of in ancient history? Palestine. There's no mention of Arabs in ancient history, okay? Because Arabs were in the Arabian Peninsula, and they only started occupying the Middle East and, of course, the rest of the world after the invention of Islam by their dead Arab warlord Muhammad in 650 AD, okay? So when you look at ancient history and ancient civilizations, nothing ever mentions Palestine or Islam or Arabs, because it didn't exist, okay? But every single ancient civilization has a documented record in history of the Jewish people, and the Jewish people are the indigenous people of Israel, right? So, I mean, he's right here, but guys, this is the gaslighting, right? This is how they gaslight. So they take something and then they switch it around, and then they make it seem as if they're the ones. Right. And then this is the other thing, like, you know what, this is a very, very good point that Arash is making here. Conduct an election in Iran and see the majority of the people. Exactly. So this is the other thing. So this Durka, he's like, oh, like there needs to be an election in Israel to see like, who the people support for government. Okay, guy, big words. What about Iran? What about the fact that you guys won't hold a referendum or an election in Iran? By the way, guys, you know what? First of all, I just want to say we don't even want a referendum right now. Okay, we don't even want one because Iranians have already decided that the Islamic regime is corrupt. And we already know that if the Islamic regime was going to have some sort of referendum or something in occupied Iran right now, they would fudge the numbers and it would be fake. And then the Islamic regime would, come out victorious, right? The same way that, I don't know, like politicians in authoritarian systems, they always win with like 99% or 100% of the vote or whatever. Same thing. So we do want a referendum. But that referendum is going to happen after we overthrow the Islamic regime, right? Because the one thing that all of us Iranians agree upon is we don't want the Islamic regime. They're illegitimate and they're literally only in control through force and through murdering Iranians. But it's absolutely wild that he is challenging the legitimacy of Israel, which is, an actual, real, legal country, right? But then the Muslim Nazis who are occupying Iran, right? It's just wild. It's absolute gaslighting.
Because the next time it could be themselves.
Listen to this part.
Washington has long claimed that Iran is a threat to Israel. Israel says Iran wants to build a bomb to destroy Israel. Does Iran want to destroy Israel?
Iran has only one thing to say about occupied Palestine, and this is something our martyred leader has also said. The leadership there must be chosen based on a majority vote by the people who are connected to that land.
The Jewish
This will
people.
certainly not be done with a nuclear bomb, but we certainly prefer if the Zionist regime did not exist. Just like the previous South African regime, an apartheid and white supremacist regime that was discarded by the people, the same thing must happen in Palestine.
Wow. So do you guys see? So all of the narrative and the rhetoric that's being used in Western society, so how like you have these professors and intellectuals and the Democrats, right? They talk about apartheid and occupation and blah, blah, blah. This is where they get their talking points from, guys. This is right here. This is where they get their talking points from. So the next time you hear some woke feminist talk about, apartheid or blah, 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 occupation, blah, blah, right, whatever, just know that idiotic white Karen and then all of those college students and then all of the communists and all of the progressive Antifas, whatever, communists, progressive
Thing must happen in
they get their talking points from this Islamic mouth breather, okay? Because this is where the narrative of, apartheid and, whatever occupiers comes from, right? It's the Muslim Nazis who spread this propaganda, and then, all of the woke leftist intellectual university professors and the Democrats and the Karens and the gays for Gaza and queers for Palestine and whatever, they think that they're so smart and intellectual when they talk about the occupation, blah blah blah. They're literally getting their talking points from inbred fat mouth breathers like this Islamic Durka here.
Palestine.
And this is why we Iranians we reject the concept of Palestine, because Palestine is fake. Palestine doesn't exist. Israel belongs to the Jewish people, and the Muslim Nazis are just very, very upset that they haven't been able to eradicate Israel. So there you go. And he doesn't mince words, right? So keep in mind when all these intellectuals are talking about all these intellectuals are talking about, oh, we need to liberate Palestine. Remember, liberate Palestine is essentially code for eradicating Israel and genociding the Jewish people. Okay, so keep that in mind. Liberate Palestine and Intifada is essentially code for murdering Jewish people and destroying Israel. That's what they mean. And this is why we Iranians, we fundamentally reject this garbage ideology because it's essentially terrorism. And of course, in our Iranian history, right? Again, Iranian history, identity, culture goes back thousands and thousands of years before the invention of Islam. In our history, right, we have a 3,000-year-old connection with the Jewish people. And so, you know, leaving religion aside, just straight on like Iranian history and Iranian fact, okay? Iranian history, Cyrus the Great freed the Jews from their Babylonian enslavement and took them back to the promised land, which is Israel, and he helped them rebuild the Second Temple of Jerusalem, right? So that's not like a religious thing, that's historical fact. So that right there in and of itself, anyone who's Iranian, like a real Iranian, anyone who knows their history understands this. And this is why we support the Jewish people and we support Israel, because Israel belongs to the Jewish people. I don't know, like it's fact.
Iranians are often seen shouting the slogan, "Death to America." And many American politicians point to that slogan.
Wow. Okay, so guys, look at this. Like people, oh wow, really? Iranians are seen chanting "Death to America," or is it the Muslim Nazis occupying Iran? Do you see how like this guy? So guys, this is a very, very common tact. Guys, I'm sorry, like I'm interrupting this garbage interview so much, but this interview is absolute garbage. Okay? This interview is absolute garbage. Like I told you guys, he's a propagandist. I cannot imagine how many Americans have watched this interview on PBS and they've fallen for these lies. Okay? So this is one of the tactics of the Islamic regime. When he says, oh, Iranians are often seen chanting "Death to America," he doesn't qualify that, right? He doesn't say the supporters of the Islamic regime go out in the streets and chant "Death to America" because they're paid to do so. Okay, he doesn't say that. He just says Iranians, right? And guys, this is why for the last 47 years, Americans, you have been fooled into thinking that we Iranians, we hate the United States. But of course, many of you, or you know, all of you who are now tuning in and have been tuning in for the last 8-9 months, you guys now understand that this is fake news. This is the controlled propaganda. So, like he's a mozdur. He's a mozdur. خاک تو سرت مزدور. دارم برات. خودم میام سراغت. So this mozdur means mercenary. So mozdur is what we call anyone who is like basically a mercenary of the Islamic regime. So now he just says many Iranians chant "Death to America." No, it's not Iranians. It's pretty much the, you know, sure, there's some, right? I mean, in a population of 90 million, about, you know, 3 to 5% support the Islamic regime. So you're looking at, I don't know, somewhere, you know, let's say maximum 5 million people. Okay. Oh, how do I spell that? Mozdur. Mozdur. So mozdur equals mercenary. So that's what we call anyone who is basically like a regime supporter who has infiltrated non-regime spaces. Okay, so a mozdur is what we call a mercenary. Okay, so he is a mercenary because he is an Islamic regime supporter, but he has infiltrated supposedly non-Islamic regime spaces. So in this case, this mozdur has infiltrated PBS, because what kind of garbage question is that, right? So he's like, oh, Iranians are seen chanting "Death to America." Really? Like, oh my gosh, it's just you guys already know. You guys already know the background behind this, but like guys, I called it. I told you based on this guy's background, that this is going to be a garbage interview. I mean, the interview itself is garbage, but I hope that you guys are appreciating the fact that I'm sort of like breaking it down and just explaining and calling out the BS and the nonsense here.
Iranians are often seen shouting the slogan, "Death to America." And many American politicians point to that slogan and say Iran wants to destroy America.
Look, we have...
Wow. Oh my gosh. Okay, so first of all, it's the Islamic regime supporters who chant death to America. And yes, the Islamic regime does want to destroy America. It's literally what they do. They've literally put out images of threatening to assassinate President Trump. Oh my gosh, right? But do you see how the reporter, that garbage Durka, the Mozdur, he is attributing Islamic regime ideology to the Iranian people. Why? Because part of the strategy, guys. So the reason that this video interview is coming out and it's being broadcast on American TV, it's not because this Durka, this mouth-breathing Durka, has anything important to say. It's because the purpose of this interview is to sway American people into thinking that Iranians are the enemy of the United States, and that Iranians, you shouldn't have sympathy for Iranians. Why? Because one of the tactics that they have used in the past is by fooling people, especially Americans, into thinking that we hate America, even though we don't. We've never hated America. We love America. But because the Islamic regime was able to fool so many for so long into thinking that we Iranians are like, oh, that's America or whatever, even though it's not us, it's the Muslims, that made a lot of people to not be interested in Iran, right? Because when the Islamic regime portrays Iranians as these inbred savages, then when the Muslim Nazis murder Iranians, a lot of people are going to be like, well, what do we care? It's just Durka infighting. Okay, so for the longest time, Americans and other people thought that all the violence happening in occupied Iran was just jihadi infighting, when in reality it wasn't actually jihadi infighting. It was the Muslims were murdering Iranian freedom fighters who wanted freedom, but because the Muslims had control of the narrative, and they had control over the networks and what news gets out, and who does interviews and stuff like that, everyone just assumed that this was just Durka infighting. It's only because of the internet and social media and YouTube and channels like mine and others that we've been able to share the real Iran and sort of counter this Durka ideology. So just garbage question, but again, guys, you're basically seeing Islamic regime propaganda in action here.
Iranians are often seen shouting the slogan, "Death to America." And many American politicians point to that slogan and say Iran wants to destroy America.
Look, we have no enmity with the people of America.
So what does that slogan mean?
The meaning of death to America means death to America's leadership, a leadership that has invaded or violated more than 70.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. Whoa. Okay. So guys, all right. Whoa. So the Islamic regime has literally been chanting death to America for 47 years. But apparently their enmity, guys. So basically what he's saying is, no, Americans, it's cool. We don't want to murder you. We just want to murder President Trump and his administration. Right? What? Guys, you know what? At least when it came to Pezeshkian, even though Pezeshkian is an idiot, right? So let me pull up Pezeshkian. Wow, guys. Oh my gosh, this is hilarious. So guys, remember, this is the Boom Boom Bingo sheet, and this is Pezeshkian, okay? So he's the Durka fake president. Now, if you recall, I have to pull this up now. I have to pull this up. Because now the Islamic regime, they can't even keep their story straight. Okay, I have to, I can't believe I'm doing this, but guys, I have to pull up Tucker Carlson. But there's a good reason. There's a good reason for this, okay? Where's the transcript here? Look. Okay. Oops. Guys, I have to pull it up. Okay, so it's for research purposes. It's for research purposes. But guys, listen to this. So this is an interview. This is the interview from last year with Tucker Carlson and Pezeshkian, the so-called president of the Islamic regime. No, this is guys. This is important. I have to compare the answer here. This is important. It's educational.
They see video of Iranians saying "Death to America," describing our country as the Great Satan. What is your opinion of that? Should we be afraid of Iran?
I believe that this is a very wrong impression that anybody might have of Iran or the Iranians. I would like to remind you that Iran has never invaded another country in the last 200 years.
Yes, you have. The Shah didn't. The Islamic regime, they've invaded Iraq, they've invaded Yemen, they've invaded Lebanon, they've invaded Israel, they invaded Syria. They've literally been invading. They're the biggest colonizers right now. They're invading. They're invading all over. Anyways, let's continue. But I want to get to the death to America.
When they say death to the United States, it doesn't mean death to, they don't mean death to the people of the United States or even to the officials.
Wait, what? Guys, did you catch that? So, wait, Pezeshkian just said, when they say death to America, they don't actually mean death to America. They don't actually mean death to the people or to the officials. Guys, look at this. Look at this.
Years. When they say death to the United States, it doesn't mean death to, they don't mean death to the people of the United States or even to the officials of the United States. They mean death to crimes, death to killing and carnage, death to supporting killing others.
Yeah, okay, whatever. So basically, if their lips are moving, they're lying, right? So, but that's, guys, so look at this. So now let's go to General Durka here and look. So now compare Pezeshkian's response to General Durka.
America.
Oh, someone is saying, Darren is like, is this not the man that tried? Yeah, Pezeshkian tried to resign. They wouldn't let him. So now, okay, so now let's go to General Durka, and let's see what he says. So what does death to America mean, according to General Durka?
And many American politicians point to that slogan and say Iran wants to destroy America.
Look, we have no enmity with the people of America.
So what does that slogan mean?
The meaning of death to America means death to America's leadership, a leadership that has invaded or violated.
Oh, that is very different than what Pezeshkian said on Tucker Carlson's interview last year. So Pezeshkian, that's the Durka president who tried to resign. Last year, he said, oh, no, when we say death to America, we don't actually mean death to America. We don't mean death to the American people or the leadership, right? And now this crazy Durka is basically saying, oh, no, when we say death to America, we mean death to the leadership. We mean death to the officials. By the way, they also mean death to the people. they just haven't reached that point yet where they're blatantly saying it, right? So there you go. There you go. Like, remember, if their lips are moving, they're lying. And this is how they're trying to, this is how they're trying to, I don't know, defend their garbage jihadi ideology.
Wants to destroy America.
Look, we have no enmity with the people of America.
So what does that slogan mean?
The meaning of death to America means death to America's leadership, a leadership that has invaded or violated more than 70 countries since becoming a superpower.
What?
Increasingly, many observers inside Iran and outside say that if Iran had a nuclear weapon, America would not attack it, that it would be a deterrent. Is the Revolutionary Guard, is Iran even discussing the possibility of pursuing a nuclear bomb?
I will say this clearly. Our nuclear bomb is the hearts of the people of the world that we won fighting oppression. Islamic values and the divine values of the Islamic Revolution are taking over the world. There is no need for nuclear bombs. There is no need for slaughter.
After the death of the late Supreme Leader.
What do you mean there's no need for slaughter? These Muslims literally murdered over 54,000, almost like 100,000 innocent unarmed Iranians were murdered on January 8 and 9 alone. And then this guy's like, did you see? He's like, Islam is taking over. He's like, I'm going to be very clear with you. Islam is taking over the values of Quran. Remember, guys, I told you, when he speaks about humanity, he's speaking about Muslims, right? And Islam is taking over. What that means is, like, this is jihad. Like, he's basically bragging about the fact that the Islamic regime is engaging in Islamic jihad. And when he says our nuclear bomb are like the hearts of people, they're referring to the Muslims. Specifically, he's referring to the Muslims that have immigrated to your countries, right? So they're not hiding the fact, guys. They're not hiding the fact that Muslims are taking over because the people are coming to Western countries like the United States and Europe and elsewhere, and they're like, oh no, we want Sharia law, right? And remember, they're mass importing into Christian countries, and then they're demanding to build super Islamic complexes. I don't know, like jihadi places or whatever, right? And this is why, because they're not hiding the fact that they're taking over. Listen to this again, right? So what he's basically saying is that the biggest threat to Americans are the Muslims who are mass migrating to America and are slowly taking over the country, right? That's basically what he's saying.
Islamic values and the divine values of the Islamic Revolution are taking over the world. There is no need for nuclear bombs. There is no need for slaughter.
After the death of the late Supreme Leader, his son Mujtaba Khamenei was appointed Supreme Leader. But during this war, he has never been seen in public. Can you tell us why?
The strategy belongs to him. Our enemy is criminal and doesn't abide by any law.
So is it because of security reasons?
Naturally, it is due to security. Certainly, there is no other.
It's probably because he's dead, right? Because what security reason would allow for not even him like putting out like a video message, right? Like, God, the guy can't literally even, like, I don't know, take a selfie video and send it out. Like, that's too much of a security reason. Do you see how hilarious these people are? Like, it's just, if their lips are moving, they're lying.
Naturally, it is due to security. Certainly, there is no other reason.
Have you seen him?
Let's leave this matter alone.
Oh!
Commander.
That, guys, so that's a no. That's obviously a no. So the reporter is like, have you seen him? Have you seen little Mujtaba? And the guy's like, no.
Certainly, there is no other reason.
Look at his
Have you seen him?
Let's leave this matter alone.
Look at that. That is such an awkward smirk. He's like, let's leave this matter alone. So that's obviously a no.
Commander Natli, thank you very much.
You're welcome. I too, thank you.
Wow. Did you see how this so-called reporter, who's basically a mouthpiece for the Islamic regime, he didn't even ask once about the January 8 or 9 massacre, right? Like, not once once during this, 9.5-minute interview, did this, reporter for PBS News ask about the genocide of Iranians on January 8 and 9. There you go. So this is 100% Islamic propaganda being spread about and shared in the United States in order to, infiltrate and corrupt American minds. By the way, guys, like, he has a skid mark, right? Don't forget what the skid mark means, right? So not surprised that this so-called, what's this title here? Garbage title, like Supreme something. I don't know, man. Where is it? There you go. Supreme Advisor to the IRGC Commander-in-Chief. I don't know what the heck a Supreme Advisor is, because I've never heard of this title before. Supreme Advisor. What's the difference between a Supreme Advisor and a regular advisor? When I think of like Supreme Advisor, to me, that just sounds like an advisor, but you just add sour cream and tomatoes, right? So you know how like when you go to Taco Bell and then you have like the nachos and then like the Nacho Supreme, and the only difference is that like the nachos or the fries Supreme, the fries Supreme comes with sour cream and tomatoes, and then the regular fries don't. So that's what I think of when I think of like Supreme Advisor. I'm like, what? So you come with sour cream and tomatoes? I don't know, man. It's just weird. Whatever Supreme Advisor means. But there you go. So garbage Nazi. But this is so guys, going back to our Boom Boom Jihadi bingo sheet. So that was this Durka here. So now this Durka has been unlocked, and he has been promoted. So before, he was just someone who was in retirement. Now he has been pulled out of retirement, and he is the Supreme Advisor to he's a Supreme Advisor to Vahidi. So there you go. So General Skidmark, who is basically the commander of the IRGC, this one who also has a skid mark is now his Supreme Advisor. So there you go. That's the the new Durka that's now been unlocked on the Boom Boom bingo sheet. Guys, I digress. I've gone on for much longer than anticipated, so I'm going to get to your questions and comments before I take a quick break, and I'll try to be back. I want to obviously watch Morad Basi just to kind of get a quick update on what's happening, and then I'll be back with more breaking news and geopolitical analysis on the Goldie Show. So let's get to your questions and comments. Guys, thank you everyone for your patience. Let's see. I know I already responded to some of them here, so let's get to the ones who I haven't responded to yet. So this was not a super chat, but it's an important question. So are there any Christians and Jews in occupied Iran today? Yes, but their population is much smaller. Prior to 1979, there were over 100,000 Iranian Jews who lived in Iran freely. Ever since the Muslim Nazis took over, many had to flee. And now the population of Iranian Jews is less than 10,000. So there you go. That's basically thanks to Islam. And when it comes to Iranian Christians, so there are Christians, but essentially Armenian Christians are usually left alone, but not really, because again, it's Sharia law. But Christianity is the fastest growing religion inside of occupied Iran. However, it's banned, right? Because under Muslim law, apostasy is punishable by death. So even though many Iranians have converted to Christianity, they have to do so secretly, and many Iranians are jailed for the crime of just being Christian or owning a Bible. And the Islamic regime is going after many churches. In fact, I posted about this, I think about a month ago. The Islamic regime just recently confiscated the grounds of one of the oldest Presbyterian churches in Tehran. So the population of Christians is, it's very small as well. But guys, there's no freedom of religion. There's no freedom of religion under Sharia law. Like, it's just, let's be honest there. Everyone is persecuted, unless, of course, you're a Muslim Nazi. That is allowed. That is allowed. But anyone else is not. Okay. Atki says, Iranians believe in the Hippocratic Oath. The Islamic regime believes in the Hippocratic Oath. That's a good one. Yes. You know what? I agree with that 100%. That's a very, very smart way of looking at that. Push-ups. Is Iranian resistance compiling names of rapists? Yes. So I can tell you that Iranians are all compiling names of everyone who has engaged in a crime against the Iranian people, and every single one of them will have their day in court when Iran is free. Spaghetti says, missed all my IRL friends. Ah, well, welcome. Glad to have you here. Atki says, do IRIB censor faces, or is it from reposters? I believe that this is probably the IR. So the IRIB does not usually censor faces. They actually like to show the faces of the people they've arrested and give out their names. But I think the reason that maybe they're now changing their tactic and strategy here is because they want to keep the person unidentified, so that when they murder him, they can murder him in silence. And the fact that we don't know who he is, right, that works to the Islamic regime's advantage. So I hope that we get the uncensored version. I hope that we're able to find out who he is so that we can share his name, because it's absolutely horrifying that this 41-year-old Iranian man was arrested for the crime of liking an Instagram post, and his life is in danger. Viperus69 says, the Muslim African slave trade ran from at least 1099 up until the 1960s officially, but not really stopped. I agree, yeah, it hasn't stopped. It also included the castration of African men. Yep, I spoke about that in the image that I shared. Britain was the first country to end and fight a war against slavery starting in 1808. Okay, there you go. Good to know. So, all right. Well, wait. When did Americans? Okay, 1865. Okay, so you're right. So it was Britain. Britain was first. Britain was 1808, and America was 1865. So sorry, Americans, I have to give this one to the British. The British got this one over you. Can't change history. So in this case, Britain comes first when it comes to ending slavery. Although, I mean, if you think about it, we Iranians were first anyways, because 2,500 years ago, when Cyrus the Great founded the Persian Empire, Cyrus the Great banned slavery right away. So, I mean, I guess you could say Persians are number one, Iranians were number one, and then the rest of you guys can figure out who's second and third place. But there you go. Minor Dine says, you are still the voice for those that have been silenced, even in pixelated. You're doing good in spite of their efforts. Thank you. I appreciate that, Minor Dine. Very kind of you. Very, very kind words. Push Up says, ever watch Fareed Zakaria on Marandi in 2009? No, because Fareed Zakaria, he's also a Durka, and I banned him a long time ago. So I don't know, maybe he was okay back in 2009, but he showed his true colors recently. So Fareed Zakaria, he's also an Islamist mouthpiece, and I don't trust him, and I've had him banned. So I haven't seen him go after Marandi. That's basically just like that would just be like Durka infighting, right? So Durka infighting. Cristiano Ronaldo 475. Hi Goldie, I support Iranian and Cuban freedom, and my ex account was hacked. New one is Sumerian Warrior. Wow, I'm so sorry to hear that. That your account was hacked. Yeah, it's happened a few times to people. Well, welcome, thank you, and yeah, Cuba Libre. We Iranians, we also support freedom for Cuba, because one thing I can say is that all of us who come from totalitarian systems, whether it's Islamic or communist or whatever, we're all fighting for freedom. So I support the freedom movement everywhere. And yeah, freedom for Cuba, Cuba Libre. Agent Anderson, please make a clip out of this segment. It is pure gold. Goldie, you are the best, and I miss the good old days, all day Iran Revolution live. I'm sorry. I mean, it was kind of becoming unsustainable to do Iran Revolution live all day, but I'll see what I can do with my schedule, and maybe once in a while, like I'll kind of do like an all day thing, but it's just, if I was doing it every day nonstop and it was really getting to me, but I'll see what I can do. Wait, which segment are you referring to, by the way? 8:52 p.m. Are you referring to me speaking about was this when I was speaking about, or like giving my commentary on the PBS interview? Is that PBS? I think you're talking about the PBS interview. If that's what you're referring to, then I was thinking about doing a clip of the PBS interview, so I might do that anyway. General Skidmark. Okay. Okay. All right. And then our final super chat is from Christian Evan Christensen. You feeling goody, Goldie? Yes, I am. Thank you. You think regime is inspired by Nazis? Yes, absolutely, 100%. In fact, the Muslim Nazis have direct links to the German Nazis, 100%. By the way, Vikings wrote Iran has lots of gold, and Iranians wrote Vikings came to trade. Yes, absolutely. So the Persians engaged in trade with many civilizations and many cultures, and that included the Vikings as well. So there you go. Two strong cultures that respected one another. So yeah, I love that. And I've been to Denmark, Norway, and Sweden, and I love Viking culture. I love everything about the Vikings. During, even though I wasn't watching the FIFA World Cup because I boycotted FIFA, but I was just like, I just randomly picked Norway. My sister and I, we just decided to pick Norway. So we were just cheering on Norway because we're like, you know what, we want to be Team Vikings. So we just loved the Norwegian fans and the all the chants and everything. So yeah, my sister and I were cheering on Team Norway during FIFA because there you go. We liked that. I see that someone mentioned there's a birthday. Push-ups. I don't think I didn't miss any of your super chats. I don't see that. Is there a super chat that I missed? Push-ups, which super chat did I miss from you? You trolling me? Push-ups? Wait, let me see. I don't see anything. Oh, sorry. You're right. I did miss one. Please read all my... Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Please read all my super chats in that accent. Please read all of my super... Please read all of my super chats in that accent. There you go. I don't know if I can do that. No, it's not es super because there's a U after the S, right? So the S is only if it's like a S and then a consonant, right? So if it was like store, it would be estor or escool. But super is just super. We just say super. We don't say es super. There we go. All right, push-ups. I see that there's a birthday. We missed someone mentioned there's a birthday. Whose birthday is it, guys? Whose birthday is it? Whose birthday is it? KB Anti-Kami. Okay, it's KB Anti-Kami's birthday. Okay, so in honor of, okay, so we have 2 birthdays, guys. All right, so in honor of KB Anti-Kami 1984 and Rebel Highlander 13. All right, guys, let's sing happy birthday to KB Anti-Kami and Rebel Highlander and everyone who is celebrating a birthday. There we go. So happy birthday to KB Anti-Kami and Rebel Highlander 13. Happy birthday to you all. I do have one Rumble rant. So guys, on Rumble, thank you so much for giving me the heads up. For some reason, my streaming software, it does not show me the Rumble rants. So I do apologize for that, but I pulled it up. So thank you guys. I appreciate you guys giving me the heads up. So it's a Rumble rant. Ooh, where'd it go? So a Rumble rant from E. Markey, who says, is there a reason why you don't raid other Rumble channels? I don't know what that means. I don't know what raiding is. Doesn't sound like a good thing, because when I think of raiding, I think of like the Arab Muslims raiding countries and raiding villages, and you know, raiders are not a good thing. So I don't know. That's probably why I don't raid other Rumble channels, because raiding is bad. Raiding is bad, I would say. Right? Raiding is only good. Yeah, raiding is only good if you're like Leroy Jenkins and it's like World of Warcraft and you know, you're like doing a raid for the Horde or something. But other than that, I would say also, guys, I don't have time. I also don't have time to do that, right? When I'm not live streaming, I'm doing research, I'm reading, learning about things as well. So there you go. That's why. But thank you so much for the Rumble rant. Really much appreciate that. All right, guys. So thank you everyone for tuning in to today's edition of the Goldie Show. Went on much later than I thought, but guys, honestly, when I'm with you, time flies by. I can't believe I've been speaking nonstop for 3.5 hours. Well, actually 3 hours, because the first half hour is the pre-show. But I've been speaking for 3 hours nonstop, and just feels like I just started. So thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. I'll probably be back a little bit later tonight for probably not very long, because I do have an early day tomorrow, but I do want to go over, of course, the current status of the Islamic regime, and I want to finish my analysis when it comes to who is in and who is out within the Islamic regime system. All right, guys, as always, I'm Israel Chai. God bless America. Javid Shah and Payande Iran. I'll see all of you guys very soon.
غرق انقلاب است.
دگر فرا گرفته، گویی اهورا مستا دوباره در نور خود مرا گرفته. اشکون سرودی سر میدهم باز فارغ از رنج و تشویش. ایران غرق انقلاب است، به پیش به پیش به پیش. ایران غرق انقلاب است، به پیش به پیش به پیش. هن ای پدر هن ای پسر، برخیز و با ما شو همگام، تا درد آن تجربه تلخ ما را نکشیده در خواب. بگذار هر دم بغرند گرگ‌ها دم لباس میش. ایران غرق انقلاب است، به پیش به پیش به پیش. ایران غرق انقلاب است، به پیش به پیش به پیش. ای کارگر ای برزگر، راحت کنون ادامه دارد در این زمان که پرتو یزدان از هر سو بر تو میبارد. پس پیش به سوی آزادی از بحر خزر تا کیش. ایران غرق انقلاب است، به پیش به پیش به پیش. ایران غرق انقلاب است، به پیش به پیش به پیش. خلقا به پا بهر دفاع از استقلال و آزادی، تا بشکنیم پشت ارتجاع تیریزی ایران آبادی. تا زنده سازیم سنت‌های می از من آیین و کیش. ایران غرق انقلاب است، به پیش به پیش به پیش. ایران غرق انقلاب است، به پیش به پیش به پیش.
با امید روزی که تمام این دلبشو و انقلاب تموم بشه و ما در روشنایی، نور و سعادت مردم کشورمون غرق بشیم.
نه خارجی نه بیگانه، نه مستشارهای ویرانی، نه چیر خاران نه کاسه لیسان، فقط هم رزمان ایرانی. ما با شرافت میهنی بسازیم بهر فرزندان خویش. ایران غرق انقلاب است، به پیش به پیش به پیش. ایران غرق انقلاب است، به پیش به پیش به پیش. مردان بیایید داخل صف ما، اکنون که آغاز رویاست. دشمنان بدانید ما زنده هستیم، بعد از ما هم ایران پابرجاست. آن روح شیطان ما را فریب داد با صد شعار مردمیش. ایران غرق انقلاب است، به پیش به پیش به پیش. ایران غرق انقلاب است، به پیش به پیش به پیش. پرچم ما پرچم ایران غرق خون شهیدان، روی شانه هامان حمل میکنیمش در هر خیابان و میدان. تا ماسک دلقکان را برداریم از روی تسبیح و ریش. ایران غرق انقلاب است، به پیش به پیش به پیش.